So that was Sergei Jukirovic then speaking ahead of this game at the Hawthorns. Let's take you back to Perry Groves and Ian Danter. I'm not sure if that was meant to be a little dig to the MKM Stadium where Hull play. Of course, they ground share with rugby league side Hull FC, but he's saying the reason they've got such a great away record, and it's only Middlesbrough that have fared better on the road, it's all down to the pitches, Perry.
To be fair, it wasn't particularly subtle, did it, to be honest? He just went, the pitch, that was it. And it can be this year. I think Hull are probably a better team on the counter-attack, so that suits you well from home anyway. But if you look at the stats, they actually back him up. They've won 8 of the last 10 away in the Championship. And we know how difficult it is, playing in the Championship anyway. So it looks like the players actually enjoy. We've got a brilliant surface in front of us here at the Hawthorn as well. So, and we saw against Chelsea, didn't we, the FA Cup, which we all think is brilliant when we see really rubbish pitches, which becomes a leveller. So, he has got a point, that players probably do enjoy a better surface when they play away from home.
From what you've seen of Hull then, who, as I mentioned, are 6 points clear of the playoff chasers, that's after Southampton's win at Coventry earlier on, do you think they have enough to win the playoffs, potentially?
Yeah, very much so. You wouldn't want to play them home and away in the semis because, as I said, obviously they're very good away from home. They've got a centre forward in Ollie McBurney up front, who he can be physical. Sometimes his discipline maybe can let him down. He's a bit hot-headed, but he's got his 14 goals this season, so he gives them a focal point. And behind him, they'll play like a 3-4-2-1 system today. You've got Gelhardt and Kumas, who've got really good creativity, and we saw them both obviously get on the score sheet against Wrexham, where Gelhardt had a worldy free kick. I'm not sure if Okonkwo might have done better in Wrexham's goal, and then Kumas got a really clever sort of flicked header, so we wouldn't play them in the playoffs, that's for sure.
No. Do you think that James Morrison has gone for Nat Phillips because of Ollie McBurney?
Absolutely, yeah, because that Nat Phillips is 6'3", 6'4", very strong physically. Obviously, he's got Campbell next to him. He's very physical as well. So you'd think if Hull decide to go long in the first sort of 10-15 minutes, it'll be Phillips who's up against McBurney. So that'd be a real interesting little battle. But there's loads of really good battles all over the pitch, even in the midfield. Crooks has come in today alongside Slater, Malumbe and Descartes in centre midfield for West Bromwich Albion. And we know what we're going to get in the first 10-15 minutes. We know that it's going to be attritional. We know that it's going to be both teams trying to win those individual battles and trying to win their 50-50s and sort of establish control. And I think the referee Josh Smith has got a big part to play, because Dance and myself love the fact, Dan, to me, the game flows in the Championship. Referees don't get too pernickety.
You're going to start me ranting again like I did last week.
Don't lead him into that.
Yeah, it's too tempting.
Bear, poke, sharp stick. Is that what you're doing?
That's what you're trying to do. I'm not biting.
Actually, it wasn't, to be fair.
Anyway, the player's on the way.
Right, okay.
Just very quickly then on West Brom, one more question on them. I put this to Dance earlier on about the teams that are involved in this relegation battle, and I know so many of the teams in the Championship have at one stage played in the Premier League, but to have West Brom, Leicester, Blackburn, Oxford, Portsmouth all in this mix, it's just quite incredible, the teams that might go down.
Yep, and because if you get the players, especially what we're seeing with Leicester, that you think that you're too good, for the Championship, that you shouldn't be there, you get found out. We saw with Luton, we said before, didn't they? They did brilliant to get in the Premier League, went Championship, now they're in sort of League One. So I agree with Dan. He said at the bottom there, you're going from Portsmouth downwards, Oxford, Blackburn, Leicester, West Brom. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have one, maybe two, what Jason Cunny would say, big dogs, that could actually find themselves in League One. And this is the Premier League, I think, is the best league in the world, for the pace, the power and the quality. the Championship is by far the most competitive, and we're all going to love it next season when it goes down to the top 8 are going to be in the playoffs. So even more, it's a league that just keeps giving.
It certainly is, and this is a big game for West Brom. 2 points off safety. They need to win, rely on other results as well to move out of the bottom 3. And as for Hull, well, they've got a nice cushion between themselves and Southampton in 7th, but they want to pick up momentum as they head into the playoff picture. Okay, we're close to kick-off, so let's hand you over to your commentary team. The former Arsenal and Colchester winger Perry Groves is alongside Ian Danter.
Thank you, Natalie, and a very good afternoon to you, wherever and however you're listening to Talksport 2. Coming to you from the highest English football stadium above sea level, maybe from the highest of highs to potentially the lowest of lows for West Bromwich Albion right now. Still yet to win in 2026 and embroiled in what looks like a 5-team scrap to avoid 2 relegation spots. The Baggies haven't been in the 3rd tier since the early 1990s, and they were seconds away from that elusive first win of the year on Tuesday, only for Southampton to equalise late on here, leaving the Midlanders second bottom as Hull City arrived, pushing for a Championship exit from the other end of the table. The Tigers have much more recent experience of League One, having won the title there in 2021, but they now have much loftier ambitions, currently trying to keep pace with Middlesbrough in second. Only a point got by Borough at lunchtime, so they can eat into that gap if they get the win here this afternoon. It is only a 6-point lead that the visitors have over Southampton in 7th after that Saints win just now at Coventry, so the 3 points here are going to be welcome for more than one reason for Sergei Yakirovich. Team news: interim Baggies boss James Morrison makes 2 changes from midweek, bringing in Phillips and Madger, Phil Gilchrist and DK. As for Hull, they won well at Wrexham last time out. 3 changes despite that. Coyle, Crooks and former West Brom centre-half Ajayi brought in for Drame, Hatzimetovic and McNair. O'Leary in goal for West Brom. Imre, Phillips, Campbell and Styles are their back 4. Wallace, Malumbi, Diakite and Price in midfield. Madger and Hegerberg in attack. 3-4-2-1 for Hull. Pandur the keeper. Hughes, Egan and Ajayi the 3 centre-halves. Coyle, Crooks, Slater and Miller. And then Gelhardt and Kumas in support of McBurney. Beautiful sunny afternoon at the Hawthorns as you hear the liquidator ringing around this passionate stadium, which is respectably full. A lot of Baggies fans come here to roar their team on, encouraged by what they saw performance-wise in midweek, even if the result wasn't quite there. Loads of potential for goals and what they could mean around the EFL, and I will keep you bang up to date here on Talksport 2 as we are underway. Both teams in their first choice colours. West Brom in the dark blue and white stripes, heading for the Smethwick end to our right in this first half. Hull in the black and amber, heading for the Brummie Road end to our left-hand side. Myself and Perry sat high up in the Halfords Lane gantry, overlooking the pitch. Just down below us are the 2 technical areas just to our right, and both James Morrison and Sergei Yakirovich, tracksuit managers, are there observing from the edge of those technical areas. Hull have won a free kick, and Charlie Hughes will take it and smack it right-footed downfield, looking for Lewis Kumas. He will actually drop for Liam Miller down the left-hand side for Hull, level with the West Brom 18-yard line, tries to skip in between 2 defenders. Nat Phillips does enough. Wallace keeps the ball in play on this near side. Quick feet from him, does well. Gets it up to halfway. Hegerberg looked like he was being manhandled by Egan. And a poor touch from Ajayi back at his old stomping ground allows West Brom to send the ball through. Hegerberg giving chase, but out comes the goalkeeper Pandur and swings it out of play into those technical areas for a West Brom throw. Minute gone, 0-0.
Yeah, Ajayi just got away one there. Playing at centre-half for Hull City. Just a complete miss kick. Went to Styles on the left-hand side, just tried to release. Hegerberg going through the middle. Unfortunately, just a little bit overhead. Pandur was able to play the sweeter keeper and just clear the danger.
First goal scored in the 3 o'clocks. Cambridge are 1-0 up against Gillingham. And here, down the right-hand side, come West Bromwich Albion. Ismay plays the ball into the box and it just evades Hegerberg, who was running in front of goal. Daniel Imre with a great run down the inside right channel, but his ball was just too fierce across the face of goal for a Baggies player to get a touch. 0-0.
What a ball from Imre from the right-hand corner of the 18-yard box. He's just got it on his right foot and he just fired it across the 6 yards mark. He said there, Dance, Hegemer does the right thing, gets in between the posts, just can't quite get his right big toe out to get a touch on it. Been a really good start from West Bromwich Albion on the front foot.
Remember at lunchtime, Coventry lost at home to Southampton, but Borough, as you heard here on Talksport 2 with Adam and Chris, could only gain a point after that Bristol City equaliser in added time. Oxford out of the bottom 3 despite conceding a late pen themselves in a 1-1 draw at home to Charlton Athletic. So they're out of the bottom 3 for the moment. Lincoln extended their lead at the top of League One with a 3-1 win over Stockport as Kumas flicks the ball on for Hulbert straight through to the West Bromwich Albion keeper Max O'Leary. And in League 2, big wins for Salford and Chesterfield at Harrogate and Notts County respectively. So Cambridge won up against Gillingham. Best home form in League 2 being shown up there by Dominic Ball with a goal for the U's. Ball's out of play for a Hull throw in their right back position, or right wing back position, where their formation is. Louis Coyle's going to take it 0-0. 3 minutes gone.
Dan, you see when West Brom were in possession, Hull basically go man for man, and what they do, there was a high press on there, and we just saw that Major just come a little bit deeper. Egan just followed him all the way in and made him to get a sliding tackle, so you can just tell why Hull are so good away from home.
Southend lead Forest Green in the National League by 1-0. James Golding at Roots Hall. Hughes loses out on halfway, almost does in actual fact. Did really well for Hull to try and win it back, but West Brom steal possession back. Diakite in the centre circle, steps away from McBurney, fires into the feet of Madger, gives it back to Diakite. Square ball to his right for Jason Malumbi. And then further down this right-hand side for Imre. Now, good run from Jed Wallace. Can he keep it in play at the dead ball line? He can. Pulls it back along the deck. And Hughes has to turn it behind for a corner to West Brom at the Smethwick end. 0-0.
Really good link-up play on this right-hand side from West Bromwich Albion. Just came to Imre, looked really sharp. This opening 5 minutes, just rolls it down the touchline to Wallace. Looks like the ball's going out of play. To be fair to Wallace, he's got decent pace. And just as it looks like it's going across the byline, gets a slide in, just hooks it across. Hull managed to intercept it at the near post. Corner for West Bromwich Albion on their right hand side.
It's where the Smethwick end meets the Halfords Lane. Callum Stiles, the Hungarian's going to take it. Left footed in swinger to come from him. Hits it now deep to the far post. Keeper stays at home. Nodded down by Diakite, and it hit 2 Hull players, one of whom was on the deck, and screwed out to the far left hand side, where it's allowed to go out of play by Price for a West Brom throw. 0-0.
Yeah, really good delivery from this right-hand side, entering his left foot from Stiles. And West Brom just put their 2 centre-halves, Phillips and Campbell, right along that 6-yard box. But to be fair to Hull, they defend it really well. Goes out for a long throw now for West Brom over on their left-hand side.
To be taken from that left-hand side by Imre, and it bounces on 10 yards from goal, but there was nobody in a striped shirt to get a shot in for West Brom. Only half cleared by Hull. Stiles just in front of the centre circle for the hosts. Tucks it just to his left for Price. Further down the left-hand side, Imre's there again. Down to Stiles, pulls it back at the near post. Cleared away by Ajayi. Only as far as Imre, who drives it into the near post. Great save. Plunging down to his right-hand side by Pandor. Hull gets away, but listen to the roar around the stadium. I didn't hear that once when I was here for the game against Coventry. These fans are encouraged by the start their team have made, even if it is still 0-0.
Yep, West Brom at the moment just winning all the little 50-50s, all the knockdowns, even from the long throw from Imre where the ball bounced in the 6-yard box. West Brom made sure they got the first contact, come back to Imre, just followed his ball in. It's really good shot down, wasn't it, with his right foot, to be fair, from the left-hand side of the 18-yard box. Brilliant save from Pandor, low down to his right-hand side.
Yeah, the Palace loanee did strike it well. Daniel Imre. Ball drops in the centre of the Hull half. Madger tried to tuck it to his right for Wallace. It didn't quite make it through. But it gets out to Wallace in the end. Up against his opposite number, Liam Miller. Good ball into the box from Wallace. The heads go up. Madger heads wide with the keeper staying rock solid on his line. And it went just the wrong side of the post for Josh Madger, who's only scored 3 goals this season. It's a goal kick to Hull City, but the Baggies have made a blistering start here on Talksport 2.
Pando just had both of his feet looked like someone nailed him to the floor dance because he didn't move. It was a brilliant cross in from Wallace, got it onto his left foot, just swinging it in from this right hand side. Madger rose early, about 10 yards out. It actually looked like it was going to nestle down in Pando's bottom right hand corner. just watched it go agonising past the post if you're a West Brom fan.
Goals going in elsewhere. Crewe 0, Walsall 1. The managerless Sadlers, Matt Sadler, leaving the club in midweek. They leave through Albert Adoma. And Reading in League One, who started the day just outside the playoffs, are 1-0 up against Plymouth. Randall Williams that's got that early goal for the Royals at the Select Car Leasing. Here at the Hawthorns, that's 1-1 now. Plymouth have just equalised there in Berkshire. Alex Mitchell making it Reading 1, Plymouth 1. 0-0 here at the Hawthorns. Hull City in possession, but they've been pegged back in these early stages by West Bromwich Albion. But here, over halfway, comes Regan Slater up to the edge of the area. In fact, it's cleared away. Out to the right-hand side, Louis Coyle rolls it back to Semi Ajayi, who had a good long spell here at West Bromwich Albion, making 177 appearances before a free transfer to Hull last summer.
Do you see Hull City down trying to make the pitch as wide as possible? Miller, left wing back, just hugs this left touch line, and Coyle over on the right hand side, the Hull City captain, does exactly the same thing.
Coyle's just got the better of Price on that far side of the field. Little back heel neatly done from Gelhardt, who dropped deep for a moment. Miller's crying for possession on this left hand side. He's going to get it now from Charlie Hughes. He's going to have a run at Imre. Is he? No, he tucks it back to the halfway line for John Egan, one of the three centre halves. 0-0 the score, 8.5 minutes gone on Talksport 2, your home of the EFL. Already we brought you drama this lunchtime as Bristol City scored a stoppage time equaliser. Brilliant header from Adam Randall to earn a point at Middlesbrough, who were desperate to get so much closer to Coventry after an unexpected home defeat for the Sky Blues, as Southampton strengthened their playoff ambitions with that 2-1 win. So the gap between Coventry and Middlesbrough is 7 points, where it could have been 5. Millwall and Ipswich and Hull all in action down beneath them, with Hull here at the Hawthorns. And a good header from Charlie Hughes, almost on the deck when he won the throw, but West Brom tenaciously win it back. Price loses out though in the centre circle, and Gelhardt will tuck it to his right for Louis Coyle, the Hull skipper. Good run from Lewis Kumas down the Hull City right, down the right hand side of the area, approaching the corner flag, gives it back to Coyle. Coyle's ball in, headed straight to Lewis Kumas, who drives it back across the face of goal, and it goes through the legs of a couple of players. Poor clearance, and then George Campbell heads it up in the edge, stays in play. Callum Stiles keeps it in, and that was real pinball around the West Bromwich Albion penalty box. Then Campbell misses a header. McBurney drives it. Great save, O'Leary, to turn it behind for a corner. West Brom at 6s and 7s at the back, and Hull City nearly capitalised after the ball bounced in the area. Campbell missed his header, and McBurney onto it in a flash. Corner, 0-0.
What a brilliant save from Max O'Leary. As you said there, Campbell just sort of run underneath the ball, dance on the edge of the 6-yard box. It sort of just hit the top of his head. McBurney just took a touch, got it out of his feet, right footed. Looks like there's a nest in the bottom right hand corner, and O'Leary gets a big Inspector Gadget leg out to save it. Corner for Hull on their left.
Taken by Slater into the near post. Ajayi went up for it. It was punched away by O'Leary, but Gelhardt retrieves. Everybody was back for West Brom. And now Coyle hits a diagonal ball out to the left-hand side. Slater tries to win the header. Well done by Jed Wallace. Now Madger trying to keep it in play on this near side, but the ball trickles out of play for a throw-in to Hull City, who've suddenly found their feet after what was a pretty convincing start from West Brom in these early stages. It's 0-0 on Talksport 2.
To be fair, Dan, just coming up to 11 minutes played, and both goalkeepers, Max Lee for West Brom and Ivo Pandur for Hull City, have pulled off 2 really top-class saves.
Laid off by Hegerber for Jason Malumbi, who's thumped it down the right-hand side. Jed Wallace almost gave up on it, then realised it was staying in play. Gets to the dead ball line, pulls it back. Oh, it's going to drop in front for Hegerber, straight to the keeper. 2 Hull players went towards the ball, both of them missed it. It broke for Hegerber around the penalty spot in space, but he didn't get the venom in the shot, and it was comfortable for Pandur to save. 0-0.
Dancy's got to take a touch. It was just Jed Wallace on this right hand side, just Chayton lost cause, fired it across the 18-yard box. Hegerber completely unmarked.
Stiles with the cross. Madger tries to flick it with the outside of his boot towards goal. It's cleared away, but West Brom have it again. It's with Jason Malumbi. Plays it to his left for Campbell. Lays it back to Malumbi, about 15 yards inside the Hull City half. Approaching 12 minutes gone on Talksport 2, your home of the EFL. Somehow It's still West Brom 0, Hull City 0. Here's Imre on halfway, tries to nick it past Kumas. Little flick in field from Madja. Miller was clipped by Jed Wallace, and so Hull City get themselves a free kick.
You know what, this game has been like a basketball game, Dance, hasn't it? It's been helter-skelter. It's been like a Hull City attack, West Brom attack. And I think their Hegger is just caught up in the emotions, because if he can just calm himself down, when it comes in from Wallace on that right-hand side, if he takes a touch across his body, he opens the goal up a bit more onto his left foot, and he sort of snapped it, didn't he? Just hit it straight at Pandur. He hit the target, but he didn't have a lot of conviction behind his shot.
Ball's back with Ivor Pandur, the Hull City keeper, at the edge of his own penalty area. Plays it left for Egan, the former Sheffield United man. Diagonal the ball out to this left-hand side, looking for Miller. Good strong header cleared from Imre, but it will drop for Charlie Hughes. Lobs it back to his fellow centre-half Egan. He clears it up to halfway, and the imposing figure of Matt Crooks gets a header on. But it's back with West Bromwich Albion at 0-0. 13 minutes gone. If you're just tuning into EFL Live here on Talksport 2. Only goals, no goals in the Championship, or indeed in the two Premier League 3 o'clock kickoffs. Not many goals around so far in the EFL. Oh, lovely run from Price, coming in field from left to centre. Now Hegerberg at the edge of the area, trying to get away from Louis Coyle. Gets down the left-hand side of the box, Hegerberg drives for the byline, pulls it back, and Ajayi heads it behind for West Brom's first corner of the game. Or rather, second corner of the game, but their first, where the Smethwick end meets the Rainbow stand.
Yeah, I think Hegerberg, again, could have got the ball at his feet a little bit quicker, and just release Styles on that left-hand side. In the end, he gets to the byline, gets his crossing. To be fair, it's really good defending from Ajayi at the near post. Corner for West Brom, over on the left.
Isaac Price is going to take it. Right-footed in-swinger. Races both his arms. It's at the end where the Hull City fans are amassed. And it comes from Price. Over the head of Ajayi. But there are Hull City players at the far post who can help get it clear, including Liam Miller. And then Liam Miller trying to clear it downfield. Hits it against Callum Styles, who was not going to let that ball go over the top into the West Brom half. If his life depended on it, he was going to put that out for a throw, and Callum Styles did. 0-0.
Yeah, just made sure that as the ball come out to his left-hand side, when it come out to Miller, that even if he didn't get the ball Dance, he was going to get Miller as well, wasn't he? And just as he slid in Callum Styles, and you just said again, just Callum Styles just sliding in, winning like a 50-50. You heard the roar of appreciation, didn't you, from the West Brom fans, because they can tell that their team is up for the fight, because this is a very good Hull City side away from home, but they haven't let Hull get into their stride. Hull haven't really had any passing movements over probably 4 or 5 passes yet.
Stevenage 1, AFC Wimbledon 0 in League 1. Jamie Reid from the penalty spot for Stevenage, who are 1 point off 6, just the same as Reading at the start of the day. Started the day in 8th borough. Leicester lead QPR by a 0-0. Jordan James. That's a big goal at the bottom of the Championship that Jordan James has got for the Foxes. And that will draw them further clear of Blackburn, Portsmouth, Oxford and West Bromwich Albion here at 0-0. Here's Diakite in the centre circle. Price lays it back into his own half for Callum Styles. Quarter of an hour played. Goalless at the Hawthorns. And Price with a ball back that was out of play, but he was caught by Ajayi as he released the ball right under the nose of the referee, Josh Smith from Peterborough. And that's a free kick to West Brom, 0-0.
Yeah, that's another example there, just as the ball comes in from Callum Styles into Price, just in that inside left position. Ajayi, who's been playing one of the 3 centre halves, he just follows him all the way in, just gets a little bit too keen, a little bit too eager, just gives a unnecessary free kick away. But that's just a sign of Hull City, Dance, when said like they're going to go man for man, but don't give cheap free kicks away.
Price and Styles standing over this West Brom free kick, midway inside the whole half of the field, but out towards the left. Price moves away. It's going to be Styles with a left-footed delivery. Hull are holding their defensive line just inside the 18-yard line. Styles whips it in. Up go the heads. It's Ajayi who got the first touch for Hull. And then volley cleared by Crooks. But it will drift out of play on this near side for a West Bromwich Albion throw that Imre is going to collect. But I don't think he's going to take a long throw into the box. Referee just waiting and actually telling Imre to go nearer towards the halfway line from where he stood to take this West Bromwich Albion throw. Here's Nat Phillips, brought into the side today by James Morrison for Alfie Gilchrist, little flick on from Madger, gets Wallace away down the right-hand side of the box, but the cross is deflected up in the air and thumped away, or at least half cleared, by Charlie Hughes, but Price picks it up. Left-hand side for West Brom. Styles puts the ball back into the box, too deep across. Goes out on the full for a goal kick to Hull City as Norwich City take the lead against Preston. Ali Ahmed, that's a game in mid-table really. Norwich one place below Preston, who haven't won in 6 games, and Ali Ahmed gives the Canaries the lead. 0-0 here. 17 minutes gone. Perry Groves with me today.
Yeah, it's been a really, really good start in this first 7.5 minutes. Both teams are trying to sort of establish control. I have to say, I think West Brom have probably, been better in possession, especially down this right-hand side. Imre and Wallace, have been very, very productive, both getting crosses into the box, and they've had the best chances. Imre shot, Pandor save, Ajayi header inches wide, and Hegerber should take the touch and hit it straight to Pandor.
Good touch in field from McBurney. Kumas tries to flick the ball round the corner. It did worm its way back to Ollie McBurney, and Hull City have kept possession, and Ajayi clips the ball in field for Regan Slater, just in front of the halfway line. Madger has a nibble at him, stays on his feet well, Regan Slater. Oh, lovely quick feet to get it to Coyle on the right hand side. Early ball into the box, and Imre very calmly chests it back to his goalkeeper O'Leary, and it stays 0-0 on Talksport 2.
Yeah, good link up play on that right hand side with Slater and Coyle. Great cross into the box for Coyle. The problem they had is Ollie McBurney had come out to show for the ball to feet on the edge of the 18-yard box. When Coyle whipped the ball in, said it just bounced on the edge of the 6-yard box. Imre did brilliantly, let him hit his chest. But if you're Hull City, you want to see Ollie McBurney not coming short to feet there. You want to see him making sure that he gets himself in the 6-yard box.
Ball's played up to halfway for West Brom. Hegerber holds it up with Ajayi at his back, goes back to Styles just inside his own half. Now Malumbi, the Irishman, has a bit of space inside his own half. Reading go back in front against Plymouth. That's now 2-1. Paulie O'Connor for the Royals. Bromley, leaders of League 2, are in front against Bristol Rovers. Will Hondermark, and back in League 1, Barnsley are one up at Mansfield through David McGoldrick. Another goal for the veteran striker. Wallace tried to keep the ball in play on this near side, but the ball trickled under his boot and went out of play for a Hull City throw on this near side of the left.
Do you want my name stat of the day?
Go on then.
Bromley just got up in front against Bristol Rovers. Bristol Rovers lost their last 6 league games against London sides. Worst run team from the capital since 1981-82, when they lost 7.
That is pretty inane. Yeah, sometimes you say they're inane and they're not, but that's up there.
Your life is far more enriched now. You'll sleep better tonight, won't you?
Here's ball cleared downfield from Regan Slater. That's going to bounce midway point of the half. Awkward touch from Campbell. Kumas almost get there. He's out of his areas. O'Leary. McBurney blocked on its way to goal by Nat Phillips. Great defending from West Brom, but Hull still have it. Liam Miller tries to get a shot away from the edge of the area, screws it wide, but that bouncing ball in the centre of the West Brom half caught out George Campbell. Lewis Kumas almost did. It meant O'Leary had to commit himself, the goalkeeper, out of his penalty area, and McBurney saw the goal gaping. But what a challenge from Nat Phillips, Perry Gross, to keep it 0-0.
Well, Campbell think it's only make-believe, because that's the second time the ball's ricocheted off him, where he should be clearing it a lot easier, and this time he snap hooks it. Just comes to Ollie McBurney, and you think because O'Leary's come out and committed himself, then he's going to just fire it into empty net. And Phillips dance. That is one of the blocks of the season, by the way. He's put his body on the line, he's read the dangers on the edge of the 18-yard box, and he's just slid in, blocked the shot, and he's got his centre-half partner Campbell out of trouble.
Oh, Crooks has bundled over Malumbi down the right-hand side, so West Brom have a free kick, pretty much level with the 18-yard line, but right on this near touchline. Was that meant to be a Glenn Campbell reference, by the way?
You tell me.
I know it was.
You're quite pleased with yourself.
I'm not. I'm more incredulous that you've come out with it. Free kick to West Brom. Wallace is going to take it. It is only a yard in from this near touchline, level with the 18-yard line. Hull defending around the penalty spot. Whipped in by Wallace into the near post. Pandor gets a single fist punch clear. And Hull trying to bring it further clear through Kumas. He's got 4 West Brom players around him, and they've stolen it off him. Nat Phillips down the right-hand side of the box, puts it across the face of goal and turned behind. Or not behind, it's actually a throw, not a corner. Right by the corner flag on this near side, 0-0.
As you said there, that was incredible from West Brom's point of view, because Kumas looked like he was just going to break down this left-hand side. That was like a swarm of bees, wasn't it? Just all around him. Made sure they nicked it off him. Tried to get the cross in. It was blocked. Did another long throw on West Brom's right-hand side from Imre.
Imre's going to take it. He might have a long throw in him. He's been faced up by Miller. Does get it launched to around the penalty spot. Flicked on by Madger, but away from Hull City defenders. Comes back to Callum Styles in the centre of the Hull half. He swings it out left to Isaac Price. Price puts the ball back into the mixer, but it drifts over everyone's heads and behind for a goal kick. Goals elsewhere. A couple of goals in League One. Wickham 0, Luton 1. Luton just 1 winning 4, but Cal Naismith has put them ahead at Adams Park. And Wigan only clear of the relegation zone on goal difference at the start of the day. They lead Bradford, started the day in 4th. Caelan Vickers with a goal for Wigan, and FC Halifax Town are a goal up against Boreham Wood. That's 2 of the top 7 playing at the Shea this afternoon. Josh Hamani gets Halifax in front. Midway through the first half here on Talksport 2, it is West Bromwich Albion 0, Hull City 0. Poor goal kick, and here come West Brom on the counter. It's Jed Wallace, right-hand corner of the area, pulls it across the face of goal, and Madger turns it in. West Brom get a precious goal in their bid to beat the drop. So simple, a poor goal kick allowed Jed Wallace to seize upon it down the right-hand side, and the ball back across the face of goal along the deck. Found Josh Madger in acres of space. Only his 4th goal of the season, but it could be one of his most important. West Brom hit the front. It is West Brom 1, Hull City 0.
Well, a little bit of magic from Madger, but more magic from Wallace down this right-hand side. Said it was a shocking goal kick from Ivor Pandur, the Hull City goalkeeper, where he's actually snap-hooked it, Dance. He snap-hooked it, and Wallace has got onto it 15 yards into Hull's half. His touch takes him wide on the right-hand side, because all 3 Hull City centre-halves have pushed up basically to the centre circle. There's massive space on the right, and then to be fair to Wallace, he has a little look over his left shoulder. He sees that Madger is just loitering around the penalty spot. He just fires it into him. That makes up Madger's mind. Madger is it first time. Pander's come to the near post. He's got absolutely no chance. Goes into the middle of the net. You have to say, Dance, it's thoroughly deserved. West Brom going 1-0 up here at the Hawthorns against Hull City.
Well, this goes along with the form, or at least the performance, that the West Bromwich Albion fans saw here in midweek against Southampton. They appear to be carrying that on into this game. Madger gets his 4th goal of the season, but he's just committed a free kick as he's fouled Regan Slater. You're listening to EFL Live on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Order delivery on the McDonald's app from 11 a.m, 18 plus. Fees applied to delivery orders. Subject to availability, price may vary. So a free kick to Hull City, trying to respond here with 25 minutes gone, having just gone behind to Josh Madger. Very high line being held by West Brom. This free kick's 10 yards inside the West Brom half, but they're defending 25 yards out, really compressing the play. Slater with the free kick, headed away by Madger, and then Miller tried to tuck it out to the left-hand side, but it came off Jed Wallace, and out for a throw to Hull, almost level with the 18-yard line. A few West Brom fans trot towards the Brummy Road end away to our left to warm up and get a warm round of applause from those around us. Out to the right-hand side it goes. Louis Coyle looks for Gelhardt, who was foul on the turn, trying to get away from Callum Styles, and it's a free kick to Hull City again, this time a little bit closer to the penalty area, as Birmingham City go 1-0 up against Sheffield United just down the road from us here at St Andrews. Marvin Ducks, feed the Ducks and he will score. Aldershot 0, York 1. The side in second place in the National League lead at the shots through Ollie Banks. Free kick here for Hull, Perry. Right hand side, midway point.
Yeah, again, West Brom Albion just holding that high line, just a yard outside their own 18-yard box. Every single player for West Brom is back behind the ball, all virtually in the D.
Slater with the kick into the near post, and Egan tried to get his head in it. Well, he did, but got far too much on it and headed it way wide for a goal kick to West Bromwich Albion away to our left-hand side. Hull were looking to do the double over West Brom for the first time since the 1909-1910 season, and it was almost a draw at the MKM earlier in the season before a 97th minute penalty from Ollie McBurney got Hull all 3 points in the reverse fixture.
You just see a little example there of the determination of West Bromwich Albion, because it was Egan who come up from the back, and Malumbe was the one who was designated to mark him, and just made sure that he got in front of him and stopped it heading it.
Hegebert tried to tuck it out to the right hand side, but a toe ending from a Hull defender kept it away from Jed Wallace. He's going to leave the throw for Daniel Imre, on loan from Crystal Palace. Hasn't featured yet for the Eagles since he joined from Chelmsford a couple of years ago, getting some valuable experience here in the EFL. And he's looked good down this right hand side for West Brom, and he's got a long throw that he's going to hurl into the Hull City penalty area now, looking for the near post flick on from Phillips, just behind two West Brom players in front of goal, and it didn't roll for Isaac Price. Desperate clearance from Hull, only as far as Callum Stiles. Works it back for Diakite. Now Malumbi just to the right of the centre circle. Stoke 1, Watford 0. Million Man who have put Stoke ahead. Only one win in 12 for the Potters. Watford 5 points off 6th place at the start of the day. They're behind though. Here is George Campbell. Lovely diagonal ball. Imre in behind Miller to the dead ball line. Takes it away from him. Across the facing goal. It might drop for Price. Brilliant block from Louis Coyle. Albion still have it. Wallace tries to drive. It's blocked away. And then Gelhardt very neatly cushions it for Slater to hoof downfield. McBurney with a cushion header trying to find Gelhardt. And Gelhardt actually shows good strength, but then loses out to Isaac Price. And he's skinned Coyle down the left-hand side for West Brom. Isaac Price puts a good ball into the area. Bounces at the edge of the box. Wallace brings it down. He's got support from Phillips. And now down the right-hand side, Imre gives it back to Jed Wallace into the feet of Usman Diakite, right hand corner of the area, just chips the ball in, looking for Madger at the far post, headed away by Ajayi, but West Brom won't let Hull settle. 29 gone, West Brom 1, Hull 0. Diakite in the centre of the Hull half, just flicks it to his right for Malumbi. Now out on the right wing it's Jed Wallace, who provided the assist for the opening goal. Imre going past his man at the dead ball line. Somehow he got past Miller, puts it right in front, and they couldn't tuck it away. It was Price who was closest to it. West Brom knocking on the door for more.
Dance is absolutely relentless from West Brom at the moment. Every time the ball gets in the wide areas, it comes out to right hand side. Imre and Wallace, they get their crossing early. From the left hand side, it's normally Isaac Price getting his crossing early. And we just saw there the difference there with defensively from Hull City. Miller should be just blocking Imre. He sort of jogs over to him. Imre just has a little feint with his left shoulder, pushes it along the byline, just skips past Miller, is able to get his cross in. Hull get their block at the near post. Imre's just going to lob it in from his right hand side.
Here it comes from Imre into the near post. It bounces right in front of McBurney, but he gets something on it. But there was a push on Semi Ajayi from a West Brom player, so Hull get a free kick. We've reached the half-hour mark on Talksport 2. Remember, we've got exclusive Premier League action later tonight over on Talksport from 7:30 from the London Stadium. West Ham United against Manchester City. Another game with implications at both ends of the table, much like this one in the Championship. And then we'll be off to Dublin on Talksport for live boxing from 10 p.m. The main event, the super featherweight title, the WBA title, Dickens against Kachachi. Here come West Brom at Wanderluck with Imre down the right hand side towards the corner of the area, hits it against the outstretched leg of Matt Crooks and wins the Baggies a corner at the Smethwick end. They lead 1-0.
Do you know what, Dan? Down this right hand side, it's like an invasion, isn't it, from Imre and Wallace, because every time West Brom get the ball, they get it out to this right hand side. They're both looking to go forward. We just saw it there with Imre. He had the ball, and then Wallace just comes steaming past him on that right hand side on the overlap. Imre decides to try and get his cross in. Crooks does well actually for Hull. The midfield player gets back to the edge of the 18-yard box, blocks the cross, goes out for another corner for West Brom on their right hand side.
And again, it's Callum Stiles to take it at the Smethwick end where it meets the Halford Lane stand down to our right. 31.5 minutes played. Trying the old thunderclap round the Hawthorns here, the West Brom fans. Styles raises both arms, hits it left-footed, right under the crossbar, flat by the keeper, didn't get hold of it, but it won't break for a West Brom player at the far post, and Hughes whacks it downfield, and nobody on halfway in black and amber for Hull City, so it's back with Max O'Leary, the West Brom keeper, at the other end, 1-0.
Pandor's got away one there, goal for Hull City, because they're really good. Again, in-swinging corner of his left foot for right-hand side from Styles, just whips it into that middle 6-yard box, and Pandor comes out to try and collect it, actually goes underneath it, and just gets his fingertips to it.
Well, here's Jed Wallace for West Brom, again down the right-hand side. He's got Malumbi steaming down the right wing outside of him. He's just held on for it for a moment, Wallace. Now Malumbi gives it back to Wallace, who stayed onside, chips the ball in from the near touchline. Price with a drive, and it screws wide for a goal kick. He got in front of his defender at the near post with a lovely run from left to right, Isaac Price. But again, the purchase on the shot was not what he would have wanted, and it screwed harmlessly wide from the Hull City perspective, so the Tigers get a goal kick. West Brom 1, Hull 0.
Oh, that's a shame for Price, because it's really good play down the right-hand side again. When it comes out to Wallace, he just gets his crossing. There's been no hesitations, dances in the wide areas from West Brom, whether it's right or left, gets the ball into the box, then it just skips along. Then they can't quite get the right connection again.
They've given Liam Miller a torrid afternoon so far in that left wing back position for Hull City. Goals going in elsewhere. Cardiff are 1-0 up at Exeter, looking to get back within 4 points off Lincoln, who beat Stockport at lunchtime. Lincoln, the leaders of League One. Ruben Colwill with the goal for the Bluebirds. And elsewhere in League One, two sides in poor form meeting in South Yorkshire. Doncaster lead Blackpool by a 0-0. Owen Bailey for Rovers. Here's Jason Malumbi for West Bromwich Albion, who lead Hull City by a 0-0 with 33 minutes played on Talksport 2. Styles tucks the ball back in for Isaac Price, fires it back for Nat Phillips, who's got time to size up his options. No press from Hull City at the moment. And here's Price again on halfway, inside left channel. He's got Callum Styles bursting further ahead of him. Gets it now, Callum Styles, the left wing back. Tucks it in field for Diakite. Diakite winding up for a shot, maybe. No, finds Styles again. Tucked out to Price in bags of space on the left-hand side. Back again for Callum Styles, and Price again. Goes into the centre of the half, and Malumbi. Now he spots Imre in space on this near side, the West Brom right. Tees it up for Jed Wallace. Quick ball in field for Malumbi. Malumbi fires a ball into the box. Ajayi heads clear, but only as far as Styles. Again, West Brom trying to keep that pressure on Hull City inside the defensive third, but Styles, in the end, goes all the way back into his own half for Phillips.
Yeah, just looking at Hull City, they've made sure that Kumas now comes out to this left-hand side, because they've been being ripped apart down their left.
Oh, and did Charlie Hughes bring down Wallace there at the edge of the area? He did, and what's that mean? A red card, a straight red card for Charlie Hughes for denying a clear goal-scoring opportunity. Wallace had nicked it off him down the right-hand side of the area. Hughes pulled at the shirt, down went Wallace, and referee Josh Smith was quick to say that is a denial of a clear goal-scoring opportunity. And Charlie Hughes is off. West Brom a goal up and a man up now.
Well, that definitely wasn't a position of maximum opportunity there from Charlie Hughes, because it's a really, really bad mistake. Gets the ball caught underneath his feet. Then basically, dances, because the press had been under, Charlie Hughes panics because Wallace is away, but he's on the right-hand edge of the 18-yard box. He's not in the middle. Wallace is going in on goal, so the referee Josh Smith is 100% right to give Hughes the red card, but Hughes doesn't need to do it. Just let him carry on with it. Your goalkeeper might get you out of trouble, one of your centre-halves might get you out of trouble. That is because of the intense pressure Hull City have been under, and that's why Charlie Hughes has made that really, really rash decision.
So a bad moment for Hull City. Now down to 10 players, and it's a free kick right down the right-hand side of the penalty area as a consequence for West Bromwich Albion. I wonder whether that means that Jurkiewicz will make personnel changes, having lost a centre-half from his team. Wallace with a free kick, pulls it across the face of goal. Price with a shot, well held on the line by goalkeeper Pandor. He saw that very late. Struck along the deck by Isaac Price. but he held on to it, so it only stays 1-0 to West Bromwich Albion on Talksport 2.
Yeah, really clever free kick there from West Bromwich Albion, from Jed Wallace.
Bit of a miss from Callum Stiles, and now Joe Gelhardt down the right-hand side of the box for Hull, but nobody in support. McBurney was caught behind the ball, and so Diakite could bring it clear for the hosts. Tucks it back to George Campbell, who's urging calm from the players around him in the blue and white stripes.
Yeah, just look at Hull City dance. They've just gone through a 4-4-1. So Miller's gone into an orthodox left-back position where he doesn't want to be, obviously up against Jed Wallace. Coyle just go back on the orthodox right-back position for Hull City.
There is going to be a change, and I think Liam Miller is going to be sacrificed for a Hull City change. Meanwhile, Cambridge 2-0 up on Gillingham. Lewis Apparay with the second for the U's. Here's Josh Madger, edge of the D. Good save from Pandor, left-footed drive from Josh Madger. Look, destined for the bottom corner. Pandor sticks out a left claw and puts it behind for a corner kick to West Brom, 1-0.
Yeah, good effort from Josh Madger. Just on the edge of the D, does the ball bounce up, gets it onto his left foot, gets a good connection. Really excellent save from Pandor, low down to his left-hand side.
And it is going to be Cody Drammer who comes on, and Liam Miller is indeed the player being sacrificed by Sergei Akirovic, so he can get another defender out there for Hull City. Although Liam Miller had a tough afternoon against the players on the right-hand side, Imre and Wallace for West Brom. Cardiff 2-0 up at Exeter, another for Ruben Colwill. MK Dons lead at Swindon by 1-0 in League 2. That is Alex Gilby. And Motherwell lead at Celtic in the Scottish Premiership. Corner kick for Callum Stiles at the Smethwick end. Again, he raises both his arms, left-footed, drives it into the near post, flapped away from the near post by the goalkeeper, and then touched over the top as it was attempted by Jason Malumbi to head it back into an empty net. But Pandor was bailed out by his defenders. Another corner to West Brom, 1-0 they lead.
Yeah, it's a brilliant clearance from Ajayi, the Hull City centre-half, from underneath his crossbar, because Pandor just clawed the ball out from underneath his crossbar. Ball come to Malumbi. He thinks he's headed it into empty net. Brilliant clearance from Ajayi. Another corner for West Brom on their right-hand side.
Northampton 0, Burton 1 in League 1. Northampton parted company with Kevin Nolan in the week. No win in 7, and they trail at Sixfields to Burton, who themselves aren't quite clear of trouble. Norwich 2, Preston 0 in the Championship. Kenny McLean with Norwich's second of the afternoon. West Brom 1-0 up and a man up on Hull City with just over 5 to the break. A lot of movement inside the 6-yard box, but the assistant on this near side not happy with the position of the ball.
He made him move it an inch, Dance.
But he has moved it, Callum Stiles, and he will now have this corner kick for the Baggies. Into the near post. Ajayi gets there again first for Hull, out to the edge of the area, but there's nobody forward in a black and amber shirt, so West Brom have it back with Isaac Price. Diagonal ball back into the area. Hegerberg back across the face of goal, but it's a very calm, cushioned header by John Egan. And then Drama, fresh onto the field, hits it downfield, but straight down the throat of Jed Wallace. Will pick it up now right-hand side. Good ball infield to Hegerberg. Turning away from Crooks. Wallace wants it again on this near side. Now down the right-hand side for Hegerberg, who's won a corner kick. Has he? Indeed, he has. Lots of corners for West Brom, trying to press home the man advantage as we're into the last 5 minutes of the first half. Luton go 2-0 up at Wickham. Casey Palmer, and Celtic equalise against Motherwell. Yang Hyun-jun for Martin O'Neill's men. So Callum Stiles getting a lot of these corners, Perry, down this right-hand side.
His delivery been really good. Just had a simple play there from Wallace, the West Brom Albion captain, just rolled it into that right-hand channel for Hegerberg. That made Egan have to come out, get his sliding tackle in. Said now Price will come over to this right-hand side, again whip it in, probably under the crossbar with his left foot.
So in it comes, left-footed, right into the near post, but hits the first defender, Drame this time. Wallace swiftly after the loose ball, picks it up now for West Bromwich Albion, puts the ball back into the area. Again, Ajayi tries to head it, but he got in a bit of a mix-up with his own teammate, Joe Gelhardt, and it almost rebounded straight to a West Brom player. But now West Brom get it back on halfway with Imre. Just to his right is Malumbi. So as it stands, West Brom are staying in the bottom 3 on 40 points, same number of points as Blackburn, who are currently drawing in their game at Millwall. That's still 0-0. And Portsmouth, who don't play until Monday night. You can hear that game against Derby County live on your home of the EFL, Talksport 2. That's an 8 o'clock kickoff. Oxford would go back second bottom despite getting a point at lunchtime. Here come West Brom down the left-hand side with Callum Stiles. 42nd minute of the game. Price gives it back to Diakite, who was pressurised, and the ball went out of play, but it is a West Brom throw.
Hull need desperately to get in at half-time 1-0 down, Dance, because then they can have a reset, because they've gone down to 10 men, and what's happened with their 4-4-1 shape, now Kumas has gone out onto the wide left-hand side, Gilhart wide right. They don't want to be there. They want to be in the 210s in behind McBurney, so they're definitely doing a defensive position that they don't want to be in. So West Bromwich Albion have been relentless in the wide areas, especially down the right-hand side.
Callum Stiles showed too much of that to Louis Coyle, and they both hurt themselves going in for a 50-50 challenge. And they're both lying flat on their back on the right-hand side, and certainly Louis Coyle needs treatment, according to the referee from the Hull physios, who are running onto the pitch now, and now he's checking on the condition of Callum Stiles, and the West Brom physios are told to hold their position. They're not needed. So let me recap all the scores in the Championship at the moment. Earlier today, Southampton won at Coventry 2-1. 1-1 between Middlesbrough and Bristol City. You heard that live on Talksport 2. And Oxford and Charlton also drew 1 apiece. Birmingham 1, Sheffield United 0. It's all been happening there as well, because Femi Sariki was sent off for Sheffield United before Birmingham City took the lead through Marvin Dux, but Sidney Peck has since missed a penalty for Sheffield United, so it's still 1-0 to Birmingham. Leicester 1, QPR 0, Jordan James. Millwall 0, Blackburn 0. Norwich 2, Preston 0. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Ipswich 0. Stoke 1, Watford 0, Million Manhoef. And here at the Hawthorns, West Brom 1, Hull 0. Josh Madger with his 4th goal of the season, and Charlie Hughes a straight red card for denying a clear goal-scoring opportunity not long after that first goal went in, when Jed Wallace looked to have dispossessed him and was getting away and clear. So there will be a bit of added time at the end of this first half as Coyle is still receiving treatment. Stiles up on his feet again.
Yeah, just look at the Hull City field. One of them looks like he's going mountaineering up Everest. The massive backpack they had, didn't he? I don't think there's anything he's not going to have in that. He's probably got a CT scan machine in there, or MRI scan machine.
Oh, big goal at the King Power. Queen's Park Rangers have equalised against Leicester. Harvey Vale making it 1-1. And that, of course, plunges Leicester back into a bit of trouble, because as things stand, before that goal went in, Leicester were up to 41 points, but they're going to go back down to 39, and that is going to push West Brom out of the bottom 3 as things stand. Big moments in these Championship fixtures. Every goal means something. Every goal seems to make a massive difference at either end of the table. We're waiting for Millwall and Ipswich to get a goal in their game, and what that could mean for their automatic promotion or indeed playoff ambitions. But it's 1-1 at the King Power. Coyle still getting treatment over on the far side of the field from us. 1 or 2 around the Hawthorns, heading off for a pint at half time, and we're about to see the board go up for how much added time there will be. At least 5 minutes here.
It's going to be a long 5 minutes for Hull City, because they have been completely bamboozled, Dance, in this first half. West Bromwich Albion have been relentless. If you'd come here today and use a neutral, you'd never believe that, would you, that West Bromwich Albion were in the bottom 3 with the way that they're playing, with the confidence they've got on the ball, the intensity they have. They've started closing down. Hull City Hull went sort of man for man that first 5 minutes. It was quite even, was it? Other than that, it's been all West Brom. And
I'm not sure that Louis Coyle is in a good state to continue here. He's been down for some time. He's sitting up, but I saw him shake his head towards the 2 physios treating him.
I think what it was, Dance, I think he caught him on the follow through. I think he's probably looking at an impact injury. As you say there, obviously the Hull City captain, there's no way that he'll want to go off with his team down to 10 men.
So just to confirm, that Leicester equaliser from QPR making it 1-1 at the King Power means that West Brom are out of the bottom 3 by a point. Leyton Orient 1, Peterborough United 0 down in League One. Leyton Orient just 1 point clear of the relegation zone, but Jack Simpson's given them a valuable lead at Brisbane Road against Peterborough, who have no winning for, and Coyle is indeed not going to be able to continue. He's being helped off by both physios. His arm around both of them, both their shoulders. That's an unfortunate end to the afternoon for Louis Coyle, and so Amir Hadzimetovic is going to come on to replace him, the Bosnian on loan from Besiktas. He's more of a defensive midfielder, central midfielder. Looks like Slater might be dropping. Indeed, Slater is dropping to more of a right-back position. Hadzihahmetovic going into midfield.
I was hoping he wasn't actually going to come on this early. Hadzihahmetovic.
Hadzihahmetovic.
I've got it in early.
There you go, you see.
Hadzihahmetovic.
It's not the easiest, I'll give you that.
Can't we just call him Amir?
You can if you like. I don't, you know. Might be some Hull City fans listening might take issue with that.
Yeah,
but
can't you think of the commentators, co-commentators? Just make it easy for us.
Well, it's what Jack Charlton used to say, the big lad. I mean, he didn't know the name of the little fella or the big lad.
Number 20.
Yeah. If you want to go down that route, I ain't stopping you. Perry Groves alongside me this afternoon. He'll be with Sam Matterface tomorrow as well on Talksport for Game Day Live. Lots of Premier League action, the Women's League Cup final and WSL fixtures. I'm going to be up at Anfield tomorrow reporting into you guys. Liverpool against beleaguered Tottenham Hotspur with an injury this longer than I've ever seen any Premier League side have to deal with. West Brom looking to get to half-time, a goal up here. We've had 3 minutes of the minimum 5 that have been added on, but I sense there'll be a good minute or two more because of the delay in getting Louis Coyle treated and then him being substituted. He's still being helped around the perimeter of the pitch. He's at the corner flag where the Halfords Lane meets the Smethwick end at the moment. And I do hope that's not too serious a problem for the Hull City captain. Meantime, West Brom have it with Daniel Imre. Poor ball in field. Crooks gets a little toe end in it. Hadzihahmetovic first involvement in the centre circle. But that's good work from Josh Madger, working back into his own half to win possession. And now Isaac Price making a beeline for the edge of the area. Shot is deflected away, almost ran into the path of Hegerberg. But they get it clear to Hull City. Styles holds off Hadzihahmetovic, illegally so, says the referee, because it was right in the Bosnian's face, and the referee thought about it before giving the free kick to Hull City. 1-0 West Brom lead.
Hadzihahmetovic has gone down, as I said last week, like he's been there's no need of booing. There's no need for the whole City physio, who's the one who looks like he's going up Everest mountaineering. That's just bad refereeing from Josh Smith, because Hadzihahmetovic has pretended that he's got a head injury. He's put his head in his hands. It stops the West Brom counter-attack. That's just really poor refereeing from Josh Smith, because he's been completely duped there by Hadzihahmetovic. So what they should do is, now he should be booked. Hadzihahmetovic should be booked, because it isn't a head injury. He's faked it.
10-man Sheffield United level at St Andrews. Birmingham City won, Sheffield United won. The returning Patrick Bamford with the equaliser for the Blades. Just down the road from here at the Hawthorns, where the 5 minutes of minimum added time are almost up. West Brom 1-0 up and driving forward with Wallace, plays a ball into the near post and Egan turns it behind. And before we get to the break, West Brom will have another corner kick, leading by a goal to 0.
Yeah, really good play again from West Brom captain Wallace on this right-hand side. Just gets his crossing, whips it across 6-yard box. Good defending from Egan at the near post.
The boos you can hear, by the way, for Hadzihahmetovic being allowed back on the field.
But he's all right. We just have to say to the listeners that, if they're worried about his welfare, that he is.
Well, you've got to think about the eyelashes, Perry. I mean,
sometimes they can be fractured. And
exactly.
It all depends, you have to have a scan on them.
So, have a bit of...
Mind you, the whole City physio can probably do it. Pitch side, the equipment he's got.
Things those magic sponges can do. Callum Styles with his latest corner for West Brom. And as the kick was taken, Hegerberg went down in the 6-yard box, but the referees decided not to give a foul straight away, but he wants a word with Gelhardt and Hegerberg, who've obviously been pushing and shoving before that kick was taken. I'm waiting for the day that a referee waits for the kick to be taken and then gives the foul one way or the other, rather than blowing the whistle just before the kick is taken.
Well, you say it's Gelhardt who's on Hegerberg, and Gelhardt's not even looking at the ball. He's got his back to the ball, obviously trying to just stop Hegerberg's run. Hegerberg's obviously trying to be the nuisance in around Pandur, the whole City goalkeeper.
So here's Styles again with this corner kick for West Brom right at the end of the first half, deep to the far post, headed clear by McBurney, back doing his defending. Kumas can't get the ball that far downfield. There goes the whistle for half-time, and a very, very happy set of West Bromwich Albion supporters. Once again, they lead at half-time as they did in midweek against Southampton. The difference today is they're playing against 10 men, because having taken the lead through Josh Madger's 4th goal of the season, sweeping the ball home after a good cross from the right from Jed Wallace, it then got worse for Hull City when centre-half Charlie Hughes got a straight red card from referee Josh Smith for holding back Wallace as he was bursting into the area, having dispossessed Hughes. It was classed as denial of a clear goal-scoring opportunity. Straight red card for the Hull City centre-back. And so Sergei Akirovic has got some work to do to try and get Hull City to get a foothold in this game. But as things stand, West Bromwich Albion are getting out of the bottom 3, courtesy of the lead they have here, coupled with results elsewhere. At the break, it is West Bromwich Albion 1, Hull City 0.
Ian, thank you very much. What a first half that is then for West Brom. Let's look over it with Perry Groves. And it feels as though, Perry, that first 45 minutes is a first 45 minutes of pure belief from West Brom that they can get out of the relegation zone.
Yeah, very much so. James Morrison was saying, was he after the Southampton draw where they got pegged back in the first minute of added on time by Laren's header, that he took great heart and great spirit from the performance, and the fans obviously clapped off the pitch. You would never believe, now you've been watching it, you would never believe that West Brom were in the bottom 3 the way that they are playing. Honestly, normally when a team are in fighting for their survival, that they're going to be gritty, they're going to be on the sort of battling, but their quality on the ball has been really, really good, especially in the wide areas. And down the right hand side, Imre and Wallace, West Brom have been absolutely outstanding.
Who knew the 4-4-2 could work?
Who would have thought it? Where's Mike Bassett?
But you know what the question then is, where has this team been all season?
Well, I think obviously we said about all the sort of uncertainty with all the managers that they've had. We was here at the beginning of the season, Dan, when Ryan Mason was the manager and he looked like he was going to be okay. Then he gets the sack. The next manager comes in, he doesn't do particularly well. He gets the sack. So I think there's just a bit of, for West Brom, we mentioned about the 8 different managers had in the 8 different home league games as a whole. For West Brom, there's been a bit of stability, but on the pitch, in a good way, it hasn't been stable because they have created mayhem. The first 5 minutes now were pretty even, to be fair. Like Hull City went man for man. McBurney had a couple of shots. O'Leary saved one with his right foot when Campbell sort of headed the ball away. Then Phillips threw himself in a block in front of McBurney again. They could have gone 1-0 down. But especially, as I mentioned, in the wide areas, you can tell that James Morrison said, I don't want you to overplay, get in the wide areas, get the ball into the box. You've got 2 centre-forwards with Madger and Hegerberg in there. And that's exactly what they've done. And they have been absolutely relentless. And if you look from Hull City's point of view, obviously they've gone down to 10 men. We'll talk about the send-off in a minute. They have Kumas now, Hull City playing on the left of a 4. They've got Gelhardt playing on the wide right of a 4. They've got Slater, who's gone and played at right back. So you've got 3 players that don't want to play in those positions. So this will be whether West Brom can keep on that front foot, don't go too slack and let Hull City back into it. But there's a lot of rebooting that Hull City have got to do at half-time. So,
Hull obviously have been very disappointing. And like you've mentioned in commentary and just now, if you're looking at the two teams, just based on that first 45 minutes, you'd be thinking that West Brom are the team fighting for the playoffs. Very different sort of Hull that we're seeing this afternoon. I mean, what more can they do to get things right in that second half?
They've got to make sure that obviously it'll be the 4-4-1 formation. Oliver Burnley will play up front. They've got to make sure that they stay in the game at 1-0 as long as they can, because what happens, the longer it goes, there'll be a little bit of nerves that will creep in, to the West Brom fans, which is understandable, because how bad, how desperate they are, and then that can then go on to the players, and then sort of West Brom might sit a little bit deeper. So Hull have got to make sure that, especially in the first 15-20 minutes, they don't concede again, because if they concede again, the game's done and dusted. And they've got to make sure they cut out the individual mistakes, which have cost them massively in the first half. The one from Pandur, the Hull City goalkeeper, was a really shocking goal kick, and the one from Charlie Hughes, we had a massive panic up and pulled Jez Wally back.
And of course, from a West Brom perspective, they can't dampen the tempo. They've still got to keep it up.
Yeah, very much so, because say that they've got the extra man, and Mulumbe and Diakate in midfield have moved the ball on really nicely. Isaac Price, his deliveries from the corners, especially from the right-hand side, in swings left foot, have caused them all sort of problems. And say when you're in trouble, when you look around, and what you want is you want leaders, you want players to take responsibility. The West Bromwich Albion captain, Jed Wallace, has done exactly that. He's playing, as Dan said, he's playing wide right of like the 4-4-2. And he mentioned about Imre obviously being at Crystal Palace, not getting a chance. He's come from Chelmsford City, obviously in like the non-league, and he has been. Those two have been absolutely outstanding. You know, when you just see like they've got a brilliant understanding with each other. You know, and so Wallace will have the ball on the right, and then Imre will come on the overlap, and then he'll go on the underlap, and then Imre will sit and let Wallace get on with it on his own. So from your captain, he has been outstanding, Jed Wallace, in that first half.
OK, Perry, for now, thank you very much. You're tuning into EFL Live on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Order delivery on the McDonald's app from 11 a.m, 18 and over. Fees do apply to delivery orders, and they're subject to availability. Price may vary.
EFL Live on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Got Big McDonald's hunger? The Big Arch is here to stay. Available from 11 a.m, subject to availability. Price and participation may vary.
Get 3 months half price when you switch to an unlimited SIM with 3. That means quick streaming, faster downloads, and more money to spend on the things you love. Join the UK's fastest 5G network and get your unlimited SIM today. Buy now in store or c3.co.uk.
Unlimited 24-month light plan. Proof of switching required. Based on Ookla speed test intelligence data 2H 2025. All rights reserved. Subject to credit checks and terms.
Amazon Spring Deal Days is here with deals up to 40% off. So Gary here can get a little deal hunting done. Hiding away from his seasonal chores. He deserves this moment to save big on electronics, outdoor, home and more. Is that footsteps, Gary? Get back to work! But just one more peek at the Amazon deals before... Oh, that is lovely. Hurry to get Amazon Spring Deals. Up to 40% off from the 10th to the 16th of March. Selected products only.
Wrong tool for the job? Don't make that mistake with your van. Get up to 30% off selected new Toyota vans and pickups with a warranty up to 10 years or 100,000 miles with every qualifying routine service. Visit your nearest Toyota centre or visit toyota.co.uk/van savings for more details. Savings on selected vans and pickups ordered by the 31st of March 2026. UK residents. See toyota.co.uk for full details. T's and C's apply.
People are tuning into radio more than ever. Advertise here and get your message heard by up to 6.5 million switched on listeners every week. Email radio@news.co.uk.
McDonald's wraps, all flavour, no mess. No drips on your drip or grease on your shirt. No crumbs on your keyboard or sauce on your dashboard. Just all the flavour of sweet chili chicken, barbecue and bacon chicken and new tikka chicken. Wrapped up neat. Served after 11 a.m. Tikka chicken wrap available until the 13th July 26. Fees apply to delivery orders, subject to availability.
Can you hear that? That's your next adventure calling, and it's ready to book at Break Free Holidays. With deposits from just £10 per booking, it's never been easier. We bring all your favourite holiday hotspots into one place. Grab exclusive deals on UK and European holiday parks. Go on, break free at breakfreeholidays.co.uk. Terms and conditions apply.
Talksport 2 is your dynamic destination for all the latest sporting action, featuring live commentary of all the biggest events, including football, PGA golf, horse racing, Premiership rugby, cricket, boxing, and all the big-hitting drama of the NFL. Touchdown! Plus, Talksport 2's official betting partner, William Hill, is always on hand with the insight and in-depth analysis you need. Talksport 2 with official betting partner, William Hill. 18+, gambleaware.org.
It's a tense Tuesday night of Champions League football on the Talksport network. From 8, defeat is not an option. Arsenal take on Leverkusen on Talksport, with Chelsea versus PSG on Talksport 2. Charge up your Tuesday night with high-powered Champions League football on Talksport and Talksport 2.
Hard-hitting football coverage on DAB+, online, via the Talksport app and on your smart speaker.
An absolutely magnificent effort!
EFL Live on Talksport 2.
This is game day.
Halftime classifieds.
This is EFL Game Day Live. Second half commentary to come from the Hawthorns shortly, where West Brom lead Hull by a goal to nil. But right now, let's bring you those half-time classified scores, starting with
Premier League.
Burnley 0, Bournemouth 0 and Sunderland 0, Brighton 0.
Sky Bet Championship.
In the early kick-off, Southampton were 2-1 winners at Coventry. It finished 1-1 between Middlesbrough and Bristol City, as it did between Oxford and Charlton. At the break, it's Birmingham 1, Sheffield United 1, Leicester 1, QPR 1, Millwall 0, Blackburn 0, Norwich 2, Preston 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Ipswich 0, Stoke 1, Watford 0, and in our live game, West Brom 1, Hull 0.
Sky Bet League 1.
In the two early kick-offs, Lincoln were 3-1 winners at home to Stockport, and it finished 2-2 between Rotherham and Bolton. It is at the break, Doncaster 1, Blackpool 0, Exeter 0, Cardiff 2, Leyton Orient 1, Peterborough 0, Mansfield 0, Barnsley 1, Northampton 0, Burton 1, Port Vale 0, Huddersfield 0, Reading 2, Plymouth 1, Stevenage 1, AFC Wimbledon 0, and Wigan 1, Bradford 0.
Sky Bet League 2.
Salford were 1-0 winners at Harrogate, and Chesterfield won 3-2 at Notts County. At the break, it's Barnet 1, Newport 0, Barrow and Accrington are goalless. It's Bromley 1, Bristol Rovers 0, Cambridge lead 2-0 at home to Gillingham. Walsall are 1-up at Crewe. It's goalless between Fleetwood Tranmere, Oldham and Grimsby, Shrewsbury and Cheltenham, and MK Dons lead Swindon by a goal to nil. OK, let's bring you reaction to some of the lunchtime games in the Championship, and in particular, that defeat for Coventry as they missed the chance to move further clear of Middlesbrough after they lost 2-1 at home to Southampton. Let's hear from their manager, Frank Lampard, who's given us his reaction after the game.
It is football. We created big chances. We shouldn't have lost the game on that, even though at times we were not our usual self, particularly first half, a bit slow, moving the ball from the back of the pitch. I think they seem to want to slow the game down a lot in all aspects, and we bought into that. We don't normally do that. We bring speed and energy and variation in that game. Second half better, but crucial part of the game. Defend your box, defend the corner. We didn't get right. And then we're not as clinical as we normally are with the big chances we created. So those are the factual things that can affect the result.
OK, well, they're still top of the table and going well. Whilst here on Talksport 2 at the same time, we heard Middlesbrough drop points after conceding a 96th-minute equaliser in a 1-1 draw at home to Bristol City. Here's an unhappy Borough boss, Kim Hellberg.
In general, it's a joke. It's a joke from so many people, and the rules. If that is the rules, there are coming teams here. They're not trying to play. They are taking throw-ins all the time, and it's okay. It's okay. It's no problem. And then they add on 7 minutes to a team that didn't want to play from the first minute. It's ridiculous. So I think the referee has something to look at in the rules, and maybe they're just following the rules, and that's what we're doing. Then we have to look at the rules, because this is not the football we want, I think. Teams coming here, not trying to play from the first minute and get a benefit from it. And I told the referee so many times that you have to put pace on the game in the first half. First half was 1 minute. 1 minute. Mm-hmm. It makes no sense.
Kim Hellberg not happy by Bristol City's performance then at the Riverside. But as it is, Coventry and Middlesbrough do remain in the top two. That could all change going into the second half of all the 3 o'clock kickoffs, but certainly they will go in the way of Middlesbrough, who could be overtaken, certainly by Millwall, if they are to beat Blackburn today. Let's take you back to the Hawthorns, where West Brom lead Hull by a goal to nil. And that has moved them out of the bottom 3. But Hull, who have a 6-point cushion coming into this game, in the sense of the playoff chasers, might want to be looking upwards, especially as teams above them right now are dropping points, as are they, of course. Sounds like the teams are out for this one. So let's hand you over to Perry Groves and Ian Danter.
Thank you, Natalie. Yeah, you're dead right. Players are back out here at the Hawthorns, and you're also dead right, Natalie, to highlight Hull City's slightly more precarious nature in the top 6. 1-0 down here with a man light, only 6 points clear of Southampton, who've won today to go to 57 points, having played a game less than Hull, who will complete their 38th game here today. Derby don't play till Monday night at Portsmouth. They could get within 6 points of Hull. Birmingham at the moment drawing against 10 men. They might be able to get within striking distance. So Hull City are looking in both directions effectively. But How on earth do they get back into this game, Perry, with a man light against the West Brom side who dominated them in the first half?
Yeah, we've just got to say, Dan, they have to stay in the game. You know, they have to make sure that they keep it. I mean, if they can equalise it, great, but especially the first 10-15 minutes, they make sure they don't concede. They keep it at 1-0. The longer it goes 1-0, then the more and more anxious and nervous the West Brom fans will
because
get.
they'll think about the midweek against Southampton.
Yeah, and then they'll start drop a little bit deeper. The players might get a little bit anxious and nervous. So Hull have just got to make sure they stay in the game and don't concede. Whereas from West Bromwich Albion's point of view, Dance, they've just got to do exactly what they did. And just because they're playing against 10 men, don't just take your foot off the gas. Go exactly the same. I'm pretty sure James Morrison, the West Brom manager, will say to him, I want exactly the same. First 10-15 minutes on the front foot, get closing down, move the ball quickly, get it out into the wide areas like they did in the first half, get your crosses into the box. You've got Maja and Hegber in there, you know, who are a threat. So there's still jeopardy in this game because, say, Hull City will want to try and take something from it.
Back underway with West Brom in their blue and white stripes, with the white shorts and the blue and white socks, heading for the Brummy Road end to our left that they love to do in the second half of games. They line up with O'Leary in goal, Imre, Phillips, Campbell and Stiles at the back, Wallace, Malumbi, Diakite and Price in midfield, Maja, the goal scorer, and Hegber up top. Hull City are down to 10, remember. Pandor, their goalkeeper, Egan and Ajayi as centre-halves. Then you've got Slater and Drama as full-backs, Crooks, Hadzimetovic, Gelhardt, Kumas and McBurney as early goal from Barnsley at Mansfield. Mansfield 0, Barnsley 2. Scott Banks with the second. Cambridge going great guns at home once again. Best home record in League 2. They're now 3-0 up against Gillingham. And the ball is with Callum Stiles, who just lobs it downfield. But Hull in their black and amber shirts get it clear through their goalkeeper Pandor, and then Drama into the centre circle, runs into the challenger Malumbi, who fouls Drama, so a free kick awarded bang on the halfway line to Hull City.
There's good play from Drama, just as the ball dropped out of the air, made sure he got it under control and then went to get the second contact. He said there it was Malumbi who just came in just a little bit late. A free kick for Hull, virtually bang on the centre circle.
I think a player like Matt Crooks is going to be very, very important for Hull City in this second half. I think he's going to have to do a lot of work between the defensive line and the forward line as a midfield player. He's a big physical presence in that Hull City midfield. He could be very important at set pieces, offensive and defensive. Here comes George Campbell striding forward, finds Jed Wallace midway point of the whole half. Hegerber's gone ahead and Wallace tried his luck left-footed. It was only half cleared. Now Imre gets to the byline right hand side but can't wrap his foot around the cross, and it goes out of play for a goal kick. Wow, another big goal of the King Power. Get a load of this. Leicester 1, Queen's Park 2. Queen's Park Rangers 2-1 up. Ben Nelson with an own goal, plunging Leicester further into trouble. That will mean that the gap will be 2 points between Leicester and Oxford, and 3 between West Brom and Leicester. West Brom out of the bottom 3 at the moment.
Check, Dance, that's the madness of the Championship, isn't it? QPR had lost their last 4 games on the trot without scoring.
Yeah.
Leicester in a good little run of form, beating Bristol City 2-0 at home.
So it's a 2-point gap. So Leicester 38 points as things stand now, with them 2-1 down at home. Oxford 39. They got a 1-1 draw at lunchtime against Charlton. West Brom 40 points with this 1-0 lead they have right here on Talksport 2 against 10-man Hull City. We played 3 minutes in the second half. Hull trying to bring the ball forward, but Drama actually concedes a throw when he had possession. Cambridge United 4, Gillingham 0. Sully Kaikai with a 4th for Cambridge. Long ball downfield looking for Hegerber, but it's drifted way over his head. Truro City 0, Hartlepool 1. The bottom side in the National League go behind to Hartlepool, who are not far off the playoffs themselves. Charlie Caton with the goal for Hartlepool. Ball cleared from hands by Ivor Pandor, the Hull City keeper, straight onto the chest of Nat Phillips, who just lobs it over the halfway line, but Hegerber couldn't go after it. He was coming back from an offside position, so it's back with the Hull City keeper Pandor once again. Drives it downfield, looking for McBurney, who gets something on it, and Crooks will pick up the loose ball. Gelhardt skips away from the challenge of Malumbi and plays a good ball out to the left-hand side, and Cody Drammett support on that far side from Lewis Kumas. Tucks it back infield to Hadzimetovic. Good ball up to the edge of the area. Gelhardt trying to weave his way through. Good touch from Diakite to get it away from him. And here come West Bromwich Albion with Isaac Price charging towards the halfway line. Now being held up by Slater. Tucks it further down the left-hand side. Hegerber gives chase. Up against the former baggy Semi Ajayi. Good hold-up play from Hegerber. Now Styles and Diakite have the ball. Diakite rides the challenge of Gelhardt. Tucks it back for Campbell on halfway. Again, West Brom just trying to keep steady possession here.
Yeah, that's what they've got to do, Dan, to make sure they don't take any unnecessary risks. Just keeping the ball, just moving it on, all 1 and 2 touch. Coming out to Styles on this left-hand side. Gelhardt gets a bit frustrated, just a late challenge. Gives the free kick away.
Tamworth 0, Carlisle United 1 in the National League. Carlisle 13 points off the top, starting the day in third. Stephen Wern with the goal for the Cumbrians. Ball's back with Nat Phillips, who made a vital challenge with the game at 0-0, which may have been forgotten slightly in the grand scheme of things, but it was a massive block when Ollie McBurney had the goal at his mercy, 25 yards out. And it wasn't long after that West Brom hit the front through Josh Madger. Diakite in possession for the host, finds Price in the centre of the whole half. Back for Diakite, who calmly rolls it to his left for Callum Styles. Price comes short, gives it back to the Hungarian, who's now making tracks down this left-hand side, level with the 18-yard line. Price looks for Diakite, gives it back to Price, making a good run down the left, and the referees decided that should be a yellow card for Matt Crooks and not to allow play to continue when Price had got in behind down the left-hand side of the area. That's why you can hear frustration around the Hawthorns here on Talksport 2.
You can understand it well, Dan. It's a great little layoff from Diakite in the inside left position. Isaac Price is away down the left-hand side and to get into the 18-yard box, and Josh Smith, the referee, gets a done on what you're doing, obviously from the West Brom fans who are really frustrated, which you can understand. Crooks gets a yellow card, but that's where the referee should just give himself, I know it don't sound a lot, a second and a half, just to wait, just to see what happens with the play, then he can come back and book Crooks.
Alex Ferguson scored for Kelty Hearts against East Fife.
Is it walking football?
Might be. Free kick for West Brom. Jed Wallace to take it. Chips it into the area. Good catch from Pandor. Under no real pressure, it has to be said, inside his 6-yard box. Clears downfield looking for Kumas. But it's headed away by Imre. Swindon have equalised at home to MK Dons in League 2. Ollie Clark. So 1-1 there at the county ground. 1-0 here at the Hawthorns with 7 minutes gone in actual fact, since the restart. Hull with a man less after Charlie Hughes sent off in the first period. Gelhardt plays the ball into the area just behind McBurney, and Imre clearly behind for a corner, knowing that Lewis Kumas was steaming in behind him. So encouragement for the Hull fans behind that Smethwick end goal that Hull are attacking. West Brom 1-0 up.
Brilliant ball there from Gelhardt, just on this right-hand side against his left foot. He saw Kumas coming in over on the left for Hull City. Really good defending from Imre. Just make sure he just hooked the ball over his shoulder. Corner for Hull City over on the left.
Hadzimetovic plays it under the crossbar. It's headed away by Campbell. Comes out to Drama, who heads it back towards the penalty area. McBurney trying to make a nuisance of himself. Kumas tries to cross in. It's blocked away by Wallace, who then wins a 50-50 challenge with Kumas. Price gives it back to Wallace, who's now herring down the right-hand side. Early ball over halfway, trying to release Hegerber, but Matt Crooks was back defending and got there first. Big goal for Millwall, could be going second in the table. They lead Blackburn 1-0. Luke Cundle gets the goal for Millwall. Imagine the noise of the Den right now, knowing that's gone in.
Well, we said before, Dan, you know, with Millwall, when you go to Den, they're going to test you. You know, they'll test you physically. Obviously, Blackburn scrapping for their lives as well. And who'd have thought, Dan, to begin the season, you'd be saying Millwall will be going into the automatic promotion.
A reminder, Millwall are one of those teams in the Championship, one of very few who have never, ever played in the Premier League since its inception in the early 90s. Add to that Bristol City, Preston, Oxford. Everybody else has, though. Ball's out of play for a Hull City throw. So Millwall are indeed second as things stand, a point clear of Middlesbrough, who were 1-0 up until the last knockings of the lunchtime game we brought you here on Talksport 2 before a brilliant header from Aaron Randall got Bristol City a point. Hull City would love a point. Right now, the way things are, they're a goal down and a man down. Crooks on halfway, trying to make Gelhardt turn his man. Crooks goes after the loose ball. He wants a corner, claims it hit Isaac Price, but it's a goal kick that's been given by the assistant on this near side. Mansfield get a goal back at home to Barnsley. Lucas Akins from the penalty spot. Mansfield 1, Barnsley 2 in League One. But it's 1-0 here to West Brom. 9.5 minutes played in the second half on your home of the EFL. Here's Perry Groves.
Yeah, well, the Hull City manager Sergei Jakirovic will be very, very pleased the way that Hull City started this second half. We said, they didn't want to concede a second. This coming up to 10 minutes played. They've looked very settled and structured in that 4-4-1 shape. Just looking at West Brom, it's how brave they're going to be, Dance, because they can overload in the wide areas. They can push Styles on a bit further, Imre on further, and the right back positions. Then they can push Price and Wallace further up the pitch as well. And then you could just leave a 2v1, obviously, to have Phillips and Campbell looking after McBurney. But at the moment, they're still staying in that sort of rigid sort of 4-4-2 shape. So I think this West Brom just trying to manage the game, whereas in the first half,
as they take a quick free kick, West Brom down the right-hand side of the area. Brilliant sliding challenge from Joe Gelhardt as George Campbell was threatening to get to the dead ball line and pull the ball back. That is brilliant defending from Joe Gelhardt to get it out of harm's way for Hull City.
Dancy had to time that to perfection because of the quick free kick from West Brom, just played in that inside right channel. It looked like Campbell was away. Gelhardt just went with a run. And when he went to the ground, you thought, he's going to mistime it. He didn't. He just slid in perfectly with his left foot and hooked it away from Campbell. But West Brom have recycled possession.
Finally, we have a goal in the Premier League this afternoon. Brighton lead at Sunderland. Yakuba Minteh. Here is Josh Madger for West Brom into the area for Hegerber, who tries to win the ball of Egan, who again does really well whilst on the deck, the Hull defender. Diakite drives the ball goals, and it took a deflection off a Hull boot and goes behind for a corner at the Brummie Road end. Leicester 1, QPR 3. Ronnie Edwards making it even worse for Leicester City at the King Power.
I think
as good as the atmosphere must be at Millwall right now, imagine the atmosphere at the King Power just now. Toxic doesn't even cover it.
You're right, it's not going to be Russ Abbott, is it? It's not going to be...
Nope.
What an atmosphere. It's going to be like a deflated balloon. And Ronnie Edwards just got himself back into the side today, I think, wasn't he, for QPR, playing centre-half.
Meantime, much happier atmosphere here at the Hawthorn, certainly around three sides of the ground. And at the Brummie Road end, West Brom, a goal up and a man up, have a corner to be taken by Callum Styles. He's had plenty of corner kicks, and he takes this one deep, left-footed to the far post, and Malumbi was winding up for a volley, but there was a push on a Hull City player, and so it ends up being a free kick to the visitors with 57 minutes gone on Talksport 2. 1-0 to West Brom.
Yeah, Gelhardt did really well there, because we said in the first half he's man v man with Hegerber. There's a little bit of a mismatch in obviously height, but what Gelhardt did really well, he just made sure he blocked off Hegerber. Hegerber got frustrated, just threw him to the ground. Just Smith, the referee, had seen obviously the coming together in the first half, so he's looking for it anyway. So if you're Hegerber, just stay away. Don't put your hands around him at all.
1-0 to West Brom. You're listening to EFL Live on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Order delivery on the McDonald's app from 11 a.m. 18 plus fees apply to delivery orders, subject to availability. Price may vary. There are two Premier League games at tea time. Arsenal against Everton and Chelsea-Newcastle both kick off at 5:30. Regular updates on those two games on the Game Day phone-in on TalkSport from 5:30, with Rory Jennings joining Jamie O'Hara to take your calls. Maybe some happy Baggy fans who want to get in touch and talk about potentially getting out of the bottom three, because that's what's happening as things stand at the moment for West Brom. They're one up. Hull are a man down. Leicester are getting beaten heavily at home. It's working in their favour at the moment. They're in possession inside the whole half. Midway point of it with Callum Styles. Plays it to the left-hand corner of the box, and Josh Madger, faced up by Slater, comes in field. Madger thought about winding up for a shot, but instead it's rolled across by Diakite to Malumbi and further out to Imre down the right-hand side. Lovely quick feet from Imre, then works it back in field once more to Jason Malumbi. Styles picks it. They're trying to be patient here, West Brom. Madger turns it left for Isaac Price. Early cross into the area, volley clear by Kumas. Up it goes to halfway, and McBurney can't get there before Nat Phillips. But McBurney tracks back well and finds Hadzimetovic. And the Bosnian found John Egan, but he just passed the ball straight out of play for a West Brom throw, 1-0 to the Baggies.
Yeah, John Egan didn't have any options there because he was looking for Ollie McBurney, but Ollie McBurney had come back to help out his Hull City teammates. What Hull are doing, Dance, is they're going 2 banks of 4. They're just defending sort of the A-to-A chain. They're leaving Ollie McBurney up front, which I quite like because a lot of managers bring everything.
Oh, here's Isaac Price, gets into the area, left-hand side and drives it straight at the goalkeeper. Let the ball run across his body inside the D. It was beautifully done by Isaac Price, but the shot again lacked the power he would have wanted.
You said, Dance, it was really good play from Isaac Price.
Mind you, Regan Slater making a strong run down the whole right. Hadzimetovic hits the ball against Jed Wallace and he brings it clear. Price picks it up again. He's the furthest man forward for West Brom at the moment, being jockeyed by Ajoy. Lovely ball in field for Hegeber, 30 yards from goal. Madger calls for it at the edge of the area, gets the ball onto his left. Again, no power in the shot, comfortably cleared by Hull. Hadzimetovic plays a square ball to his right. McBurney tucks it over halfway, asking a lot of Gelhardt, who won't beat Diakite to the ball. He fell and then handled the ball, and he's given away a free kick, Osman Diakite, thinking he was going to get a free kick, thinking he'd been challenged. Referee said, no, you handled it, son. Free kick to the other side.
And to look, Diakite there was going to start a scrum, didn't it? It was just like, fell on top of the ball. Unfortunately for him, he just got his feet caught in the turf because he was going to come away with the ball. Looks like Josh Smith, the referee, is going to give him a yellow card where he's just really unfortunate.
Quickly taken free kick too quickly for the referees. Like him, McBurney thought he was in, but they'd taken the set piece far too quick for the referees' liking. But the jeopardy's still there, Perry. We've got an hour gone now. West Brom 1, Hull 0, Hull down to 10. But set pieces and moments like this are going to be critical for West Brom to keep their concentration if they want to keep this 3-point haul.
You can tell that Jack Irovich, the Hull City manager, said we're going to go the 4-4-1. Well, we're going to you stay up front, you give us an out, we're going to defend for our lives.
Here comes the kick from Hadzimetovic. Good kick. Ajoy went up for the header, and it's flapped away by Max O'Leary, and he gets onto the loose ball. He was caught by Egan. Just had a little nibble at him. And it's all getting a bit feisty and testy out there at the moment. John Egan just being reminded not to do anything too daft by the referee. O'Leary seems to be making quite a lot of the challenge. And it stays West Bromwich Albion 1, 10-man Hull City 0, with an hour gone on Talksport 2. You're home with the EFL.
He did well initially there, O'Leary, to be fair, because as the ball just swung in from the free kick, the ball was headed up in the air and it dropped down, and then looked like Egan was going to get onto it. But what Max O'Leary did really well, he knew he couldn't catch it, so he just palmed it away from Egan's head, went to get the ball the other side, and he thought that obviously Max O'Leary was just going to try and release Isaac Price on this left-hand side, and Egan was quite clever, quite cute, to be fair, when he just had a sort of a little trip. You said, I think Max O'Leary is making more of it than what it really was, because all it was just a little trip. He's going to be okay.
Goals going in League 2. Cheltenham lead at Shrewsbury. Two teams just above the drop zone. Cheltenham 6 unbeaten. Lead at the Meadow through Jordan Thomas. And now O'Leary has decided he needs treatment, the West Bromwich Albion goalkeeper. Tamworth equalise against Carlisle towards the top of the National League. Carlisle start the day in third, but Oliver Lynch has equalised at the Lamb, not too far from here. So as everyone takes a bit of water on this near side, let me run you through the scores. Only one goal in the Premier League. That's gone in at the Stadium of Light, where Brighton lead at Sunderland by 1-0. Latest scores in the Championship: Birmingham 1, Sheffield United 1. Sheffield United down to 10 men. Leicester 1, QPR 3. Millwall 1, Blackburn 0. But Millwall are now down to 10 players. Zach Sturge has been sent off not long after Luke Cundle gave Millwall the lead. So if they're going to stay second, they're going to have to keep Blackburn out for the rest of the game with a man light. Norwich 2, Preston 0. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Ipswich 0. That's not good for Ipswich, trying to keep pace with the automatic promotion spot. Stoke 1, Watford 0, and West Brom 1, Hull 0 here at the Hawthorns. Exeter 0, Cardiff 3 now in League 1. Alex Robertson adds to the brace that Ruben Colwell scored, putting Cardiff well clear, but just one win in 4. It's not been great. Now, maybe Max O'Leary actually has a genuine injury, because he's going to have to come off here. This is a rarity. We thought it was just a slight problem, but it looks as though they're going to have to call upon Josh Griffiths, their reserve keeper, because he's not going to be able to continue here, Max O'Leary.
To be fair, Dan, at first I said it looked like it was quite innocuous, wasn't it? It was Egan who just sort of clipped him as Max O'Leary just tried to pick the ball as it bounced up.
Completely innocuous.
So it may see that he's walking hesitantly off the pitch.
Well, Griffiths is ready, and they're also going to bring on Jamaldine Jimo Aloba as well, West Bromwich Albion. He's being told to get ready for action. So it'll be a double change, maybe, all being made at the same time. Newport County equaliser Barnet in League 2. Second bottom Newport, but they've got an equaliser through Bobby Camworth at the Hive. So Josh Griffiths had 21 starts this season before the arrival of Max O'Leary. Hasn't played in the league since the hammering that Norwich City handed out here in January when they won 5-0. And the other change will see West Brom bringing off... They've held up the wrong number there. It's
one job.
It's definitely Jamaldine Jimo Aloba that's coming on, but they've put up the wrong number for who's coming off. Well, they're just trying to sort it out.
They put up Diacate's number, didn't they? Like centre midfield, and he looked over as if to say, surely can't be taking me off.
I don't think it was even his number. I think it's a number that's not in the squad list. Reading 2, Plymouth 2, meantime. Plymouth equalised for a second time in Berkshire. Caleb Watts with the second equaliser for them. And it's Jed Wallace that's going to make way for Jimo Aloba. Good shift from Jed Wallace this afternoon. One of the best bits of free transfer business West Brom have done in recent years.
That's a surprise, Dan. Maybe it's just managing his minutes, you know. So he's been really, really good on that right-hand side. Had a brilliant understanding of him rate in the first half. Not quite as marauding in the second half. So obviously just a like-for-like Jimo Aloba. He's like an attacking midfield player.
Yeah, he's on loan from Aston Villa. It's his first loan out from West Brom's neighbours, England under-20 international. So we're approaching the midway point of the second half. On Talksport 2, your home of the EFL. West Brom out of the bottom three as things stand. They're 1-0 up and pushing forward with Malumbi. Placing Jimo Aloba down the right-hand side of the box, and it's touched in by Hegerber. Joy unconfined around the Hawthorns as Arne Hegerber has scored his first goal in 18 games to put clear distance between West Brom and Hull City. And as it stands, taking the Baggies out of the bottom three at a very important time. Arne Hegerber at the near post, steered it in. And Jamaldine Jimo Aloba's first involvement is to set up West Brom second. West Brom 2, Hull City 0.
That is the archetypal impactor. Jimo Aloba just coming on, making a lovely little run down that right-hand side from the edge of the 18-yard box. As he got to the byline, you're thinking, well, you've just come on. Are you going to be up to pace for the game? Unbelievably he was, because he just whipped the ball into the near post, and Hegerber doing what all good centre forwards should do, is get across the near post. As the ball's flashed to him, he just helps it on his way with his right foot, gives Panda and the whole City goal absolutely no chance whatsoever. James Morrison, the West Brom general manager, looks around and goes, this management life is quite easy really, isn't it? You know, I just make the substitutions and they go on, have an impact in the game straight away.
Quarter of the game to go, and West Brom are 2-0 up. Here's Jimo Aloba again over the halfway. Great run. He's got options right and left as he gets up to the edge of the area. Plays it left for Price. Price can't take the shot on. Rolls it back to Diakite. Now Malumbi finds Hegerber. Little back flick to get Imre away, and the shot goes behind for a corner kick. Boy, oh boy, have they got their tails up now, West Bromwich Albion.
Well, Jimo Aloba has had that instant impact. He's just risen the crowd as well. The energy from the West Brom supporters has gone onto the pitch. He's give the other West Brom players that little bit of a lift. Good play down their right-hand side again. Imre getting to the byline, trying to get his cross in. Good block from Hull at the near post. Corner for West Bromwich Albion over on their right-hand side.
Styles going across to take it. Where at the Bromley Road end. Jimmy Morrison getting the song. I mean, he was loved as a player here. They're loving what he's doing as an interim manager. Styles with the corner kick, punched away by Pandor. Retrieved though by Jimo Aloba. Isaac Price on the halfway line finds Malumbi tight to this near touchline, right below the Coventry position. Poor challenge from Gelhardt. Yellow card for the Hull City number 21 for that agricultural challenge on Jason Malumbi.
Yeah, it's just frustration there from Joe Gelhardt. So he's playing in a position that he don't want to be wide on the right hand side. Malumbi just skips inside him, just sives him down. This time, quite rightly, the referee Josh Smith gets his yellow card out pretty quickly. Again, now West Brom, the way the game's changed, dancing it in that sort of nanosecond where West Brom haven't got to force anything now.
Price with a cross into the box. Crooks heads clear for Hull. 20 minutes to go on Talksport 2. Cheltenham 2-0 up at Shrewsbury now. Sam Sherring with a second for the Robins at the Meadow. And so Orne Hegerberg now has 10 goals for the season, but as I said, he's not scored in his previous 17 games for West Bromwich Albion. You'd wonder at a crucial stage of the season what that might do for him alone, Perry Groves.
Yeah, well, he looked lacking confidence in the first half. He had a really good chance, didn't he, from the penalty spot where he hit it straight at Pandur, where he maybe should have took a chance. But I think the cross from Jimo Aloba made up his mind, dance, because it's been whipped in with a lot of pace and he didn't have time to think about it, just getting across the near post, helping it on his way with his right foot. It was a really, really good crafted goal and a really good run from Hegerberg, which is exactly where he should be.
West Brom 2, Hull City 0 on Talksport 2. Southend go 2-0 upon Forest Green in the National League through Gus Scott Morris. And Boston United back in front against Yeovil Town elsewhere in the National League this afternoon. Aberdeen lead Falkirk in the Scottish Premiership. Former Hibs striker Kevin Nisbet. Ajayi back on his old stomping ground. It's not an enjoyable return to the Hawthorn semi Ajayi. And he's got more defending to do because Isaac Price drifting down the left-hand side for the hosts. Lays it back to Diakite. Into the feet of Malumbi in the centre of the half. Now Jimo Aloba might go for goal here, he does, but it's blocked at source by John Egan, who come out to block, and the ball goes out of play on the far side for a West Bromwich Albion throw. West Brom 2, 10-man Hull City 0. 18 and a half minutes to play at the Hawthorns. This a result that will take West Brom above Blackburn and Oxford, because remember, Blackburn are losing at Millwall, so not only are Millwall going second, that result is dropping Blackburn into the bottom three. As West Brom win a corner, again, good work down the right-hand side from Imre, and it's a corner again at the Bromley Road end to West Bromwich Albion.
Yeah, he's been really, really good, Imre, down that right-hand side. This time it's Dramo just comes across. Imre tries to go on the outside of him. Lost count, Dads, of the number of corners.
10, I think that is now.
They're predominantly all from the right-hand side.
And across goes Callum Styles to take it. I think that is indeed the 10th corner that they've won this afternoon. Again, he raises both his arms. A lot of West Brom players congregated at the far post, nearer to us in our position, in our commentary position in the Halfords Lane stand. Styles with a left-footed in-swinger, dink to the far post. Again, a two-fisted clearance from the goalkeeper, Pandor. Retrieved by Isaac Price. Stoke City go 2-0 upon Watford now, elsewhere in the Championship, and a second for Millian Manhoof. Now Malumbi finds Diakite, gives it back to Malumbi. Down the left-hand side of the box, drifting away from the challenge of Slater. Jimo Aloba tries to tee it up for Imre. Ipswich lead at Sheffield Wednesday. Ivan Azon making it Sheffield Wednesday 0, Ipswich 1. Big goal for the Tractor Boys. Down goes Styles at the edge of the area. Oh, brilliant touch from Josh Madger. No penalty given by the referee. Looked like he was dragged to the ground, Madger. But the referee, Josh Smith, saw nothing wrong with the challenge, and we play on at 2-0.
Dance, from where we're looking, that is 100% penalty, because it's brilliant play from Josh Madger. Really quick feet. He just it from his right foot, his left foot, back to his right. He gets the wrong side of Egan and Gelhardt. It actually looked like both of them actually pulled him to the ground. And he had a look at it, Josh Smith, the referee, and he just thought, no, that's not a penalty. And he had a good view of it, Dance. He was only sort of 7-8 yards away. So I think Hull City have got away with one there.
Triple change for Hull. Off goes Gelhardt to be replaced by Mohamed Baloumi. John Lundstrom also is about to come on. But before that, Carl Joseph is going to replace Matt Crooks in midfield. And as well as that, Lewis Kumas is making way for John Lundstrom. So Baloumi, Lundstrom and Joseph all on. Crooks, Gelhardt and Kumas replaced. Almost feels like a damage limitation move by Sergei Yakirovich.
Yeah, it's just saving the legs of Gelhardt and Kumas, obviously, because they've got a lot more games to play, hoping they consolidate their place in the playoff positions.
Here's Callum Stiles driving the ball into the area for West Brom, but it ricochets through to Pandor, the Hull goalkeeper. Or given away by Lundstrom, almost given away, I should say, because Jimo Aloba just couldn't get onto the loose ball. Now he'll have it again, right wing. Madger and Hegerberg waiting for a cross. Can he get the cross in? He does along the deck, but it's cleared away by Egan at the near post. Swindon 1, MK Dons 2. MK back in front at the county ground. Marvin Ekpiteta. Woking 4-0 up at Brackley in the National League. And Tamworth go in front against third place Carlisle. 2-1 at the Lamb. Oliver Lynch with his second of the afternoon. Semi Ajayi on halfway for Hull City. Quarter of an hour to go on Talksport 2. Very happy Hawthorns right now. Baloumi tries to get involved for the first time this afternoon, but West Brom hoof it clear. Ajayi wins the aerial challenge against Hegerberg. Price working really hard, gets around two defenders, and then Ajayi steps in and lets the ball go out for a throw, because he thought it was his throw, but the referee disagrees and says that's a West Brom throw-in on this near side.
Yeah, good closing down from Price and Hegerberg on this left-hand touchline. Just looking for Hull City Dance. Lundstrom will just come and play in that centre midfield position. Baloumi will be out on this right-hand side.
Stoke City 2, Watford 1. Nestori Irankunda gets a goal back for Watford in the Potteries. Throw in for West Brom. Isaac Price, left-hand corner of the area. Quickly flicks it right for Jimo Aloba. Gets a bit of space at the edge of the D. Doesn't quite break for Price. Madger, great quick feet inside the area, but runs into Ajayi, who gets it clear. But only as far as Campbell. Malumbi steers it out to Imre, right-hand side. Malumbi's gone again down the right-hand side. Can he keep it and play at the dead ball line? No. It's a goal kick to Hull City. But a very relaxed atmosphere now at the Hawthorns, with West Brom 2-0 up against 10-man Hull City.
How many times this season that you'd have been able to say that the West Bromwich Albion fans can actually enjoy themselves here at the Hawthorns? They could enjoy the first half, Dance, because Hull City have got a really good away record. They'd won 8 of the last 10 in the Championship away. West Bromwich Albion were the best team in the first half, on the front foot, putting Hull City under pressure, had the better chances, going 1-0 up at half-time. Then it's, can they control the game in the second half? And to be fair, Hull defended okay for that first sort of 10-15 minutes in that 4-4-1 shape.
That's the first involvement Josh Griffiths has had since coming on as goalkeeper for the injured Max O'Leary. Just grabbing hold of a ball hoofed downfield. Celtic were behind at home to Motherwell. They're now 3-1 up. Yang Hun Yun with a third for Celtic. And Wigan 2-0 up on Bradford in League One. Ball played into the West Brom box. Well defended by Nat Phillips. Stiles under a bit of pressure from Baloumi, finds Isaac Price, and there's room for West Brom to pass around Hull players with that man advantage. Now they've worked it neatly out to the right hand side, and Imre making strides from right back into the Hull half. Hegerman made a run across from left to right, but not used. So it goes back into their own half, because they've got all the time in the world right now. West Bromwich Albion, 12 to go, 2-0 up.
Yeah, well, they just need to keep the ball, which they've done really well. Malumbi and Diakate in that midfield area. Hull City players are just trying to conserve their energy. They realise that the game is done and dusted, so they put fresh legs on with Baloumi on the right hand side, Lundstrom playing in the centre midfield, and Joseph going out on that left hand side. But I don't think it's going to make any difference to the scoreline, Dance, because West Brom are playing with a lot of confidence.
There's a difference at the top of the table, though, because Millwall, despite being down to 10 men, are still 1-0 up on Blackburn. They would go a point. Actually, no, they've just been pegged back. I've just been told it's 1-1 at the Den. Indeed, it is with 10 minutes to go. Matthias Jorgensen's equalised for Blackburn Rovers, so Middlesbrough fans breathe a sigh of relief as they stay second. 1-1 at the Den, 2-0 here.
I think I'm going to give up my Netflix subscription because you get enough drama in the Championship, don't you? It is incredible the way.
And we've not even got to the final day yet.
Exactly, yeah. We're 8-9 games out from the end of the season.
Yeah,
it is unreal, absolutely.
And you
unreal.
just know there's going to be so many things to decide on that final day of the season in May before we even get to the playoffs. And every playoff match will be live and exclusive across the Talksport network once we get into May, including all 3 Wembley Showpiece finals. West Brom 2-0 up with just over 10 to play. Here's Jason Malumbi, who's had a good, calm game in the centre of the West Brom midfield. Back it goes to Diakite, his central midfield partner. Doncaster 2-0 up on Blackpool in League One. Now Jimo Aloba down the right-hand side, pulls it back. It won't quite reach Isaac Price, although he has to go and retrieve it at the left-hand corner of the area. Then a left-footed drive from Styles hits the post with the goalkeeper beaten. That was so nearly 3-0. Great hit from the left-back, but it comes to nothing. And out comes Griffiths at the other end as Balumi threatened to break for Hull City. What a hit from Callum Styles, and the woodwork protects Hull City from going further behind.
Yeah, it's nearly golden from Styles. Really, really good effort from the edge of the 18-yard box, getting it onto his left foot. And then it looks like it's going to nestle in Panda's top right-hand corner, just smacks against the upright, comes straight back out. And then West Brom couldn't quite get themselves onto the rebound.
Game chase down the left-hand side from Carl Joseph for Hull, but it's gone behind for a goal kick. Walsall are 2-0 up at Crewe in League 2. Aaron Pressley with a second for the Saddlers, who let Mr Sadler go in the week. Stoke City 3-1 up on Watford now. Sam Gallagher with a third for Stoke. So at the top of the Championship, Coventry 77 points, Middlesbrough 70, Millwall 69, Ipswich, who are winning at Sheffield Wednesday, 68, and they've got a game in hand on the 3 teams above them. Hull 63 points, so a 5-point gap from 4th to 5th. And then Wrexham on 60, Southampton 57, just outside the playoff zone. Leyton Orient have a second against Peterborough. Big win in store for the O's. Tyreek Backinson with the second at Brisbane Road. West Brom lose possession for the time being. 8.5 minutes of normal time to play. 2-0 up on 10-man Hull City and getting out of the bottom 3. Although that goal for Blackburn has taken them back above West Brom. They've leapt up 2 places. West Brom would still be out of the drop zone, but only by a point from Oxford United, who got a draw themselves today against Charlton. Very nearly 3 points Oxford got there, but for a late equaliser from Charlton Athletic. Here's Carl Joseph down the left-hand side of the area. Drama trying to win a corner kick. Can't do so. Imre, who's had a good game at right back, ends up winning a goal kick. Very impressive. First time I've seen him live, Perry Groves, and I've liked what I've seen from Imre.
Do you know what, Dad? I can't remember him making a mistake. He started off, didn't he, from like the first minute where he had the overlap down the right-hand side and got his cross into the 80. Yeah, he just follows the run of Drama, just makes sure that he gets his block in number 1 and then just nicks it off him, then it goes out for a goal kick. So he's been outstanding, that right back.
Massive goal in League 2. Newport County are in front at Barnet through James Kroll. That takes Newport out of the bottom 2 in League 2. So Harrogate, who lost earlier, and Barrow would be in the bottom 2. Crawley just outside. Double change from West Brom. And Daryl DK is going to come on for Hegerberg, who's got his goal. And Alex Mowat is also being brought on for Diakite. So Hegerberg and Diakite off. Mowat and DK on. So like-for-like switches in both instances there. 4-0 to Cardiff at Exeter. Really driving home their advantage. Callum Robinson with the 4th for the Bluebirds down in Devon. 6.5 minutes of normal time to play on Talksport 2 here at the Hawthorns, where West Bromwich Albion are heading towards 3 incredibly precious points to take them out of the Championship bottom three. They started the day second bottom. Hull City got some defending to do. DK, first involvement. Down the right-hand side. Really has struggled for fitness and form, Daryl DK. And the free kick awarded as Malumbi was fouled. 25 yards from goal. Might be a West Brom player might fancy a crack at goal from here. Maybe Alex Mowat, good 25 to 30 yards out.
Yeah, good play on that right-hand side for West Brom. DK just coming on, making sure he's holding the ball up, just flicks it inside to Malumbi.
Millwall 1, Blackburn 2. Sorry, Perry. Another one for Matthias Jurgensen, making it worse for Millwall in the Championship. They were leading, but then Zach Sturridge was sent off. And now Ipswich have gone above Millwall in the as it stands table. On goal difference, way better goal difference that Ipswich have to Millwall, plus 28 to plus 9. Ipswich 1-0 up at Sheffield Wednesday. Falkirk equalised at Aberdeen in the Scottish Premiership. FC Halifax 3-2 up on Boreham Wood in a thriller at the Shea. Mowat with a free kick for West Brom, straight into the Hull City wall. Comes out to Isaac Price, who chips it back out to the right-hand side of Malumbi. Tries to control the ball on his chest, allows Drama to get back at him. Clears down the line, neat cushion ball from McBurney, down for Lundstrom, but the ball up to halfway, doesn't find a black and amber teammate. So it's back with West Brom and Campbell. Doncaster 2, Blackburn 1, Doncaster 2, Blackpool 1, Ashley Fletcher gets one back, Gateshead 1, Sutton 1 in the National League. Lots of goals flying in late on. Peterborough get a goal back at Leyton Orient. That's now 2-1 to the O's at Brisbane Road. Jimmy J. Morgan for the Posh. Less than 5 minutes to play here. West Brom 2-0 up.
That's exactly what you want when you put your centre midfield player. Mowat just make sure that he's made himself busy, got himself on the ball, 4 or 5 touches.
Here at the edge of the area is Madger, comes out to the edge of the box, and Malumbi had a shy from the edge of the D, but it was always going wide, didn't trouble the goalkeeper. Goal kick to Hull, 2-0 West Brom.
Yeah, you see there's a Hull players have got heavy legs now, just coming back into this last 4 minutes of normal time, just dropping a little bit deeper and deeper. The West Bromwich Albion impactors, got to make sure I get the terminology right.
Top 3 in League 2, all winning in Cambridge, and now 5-0 up against Gillingham. Shane Lavery with the 5th at the Abbey. But here in the Championship at the Hawthorns, West Brom 2-0 up against Hull City. And the ball's with their substitute goalkeeper, Josh Phillips, who clears from hands from the edge of his own 18-yard box, looking for Josh Madger to get the flick on. Drops away from him. And it's worked down to Cody Drama, the left back for Hull City. Hadziometovic is dispossessed and then wins it back after a slightly heavy touch. And then Jimo Oloba commits a foul, and Hull City get a free kick with 3 minutes of normal time to play. So as things stand, as I mentioned, West Brom go on to 40 points with 8 games to play. A point clear of Oxford, who were in 22nd place, and Leicester, who are being beaten at home 3-1 by QPR, who are 2 points adrift of West Brom now. 40 for West Brom, 39 for Oxford, 38 for Leicester. Flicked on as Hull City send the free kick downfield. It's McBurney. Tucks the ball to the right corner of the area. Almost worked its way through to John Egan. And then there's a foul on Josh Madger, giving them a free kick. West Brom inside their own half. Walsall get a third at Crewe. Albert Adoma with his second of the afternoon. And we're edging towards added time here, and edging towards probably the loudest ovation they'll have heard at the Hawthorns for quite some time, Perry Groves.
It's been a really good reaction after the disappointing draw against Southampton in midweek, where they got pegged back, in that first minute added on time from Laren's header. And James Morrison said he liked the endeavour, he liked the spirit and the intensity of his team, and it's whether they could carry it on. It's exactly what they've done, Dance. It's been the perfect performance from West Bromwich Albion's point of view, especially in that first half. Obviously, big turning point when Charlie Hughes got sent off for Hull City in the 36th minute. But West Brom have managed the game really, really well. And Jimo Oloba came on in the 67th minute, and then he got the second goal in the 67th minute from his cross.
Here's DK working hard at the edge of the Hull City area, trying to dispossess Regan Slater, and Slater's clearance doesn't go out of play on this near side. DK able to retrieve it for West Brom. Styles, who's not long hit the post with a rasping left-footed drive from just outside the area. West Brom work it out to the impressive Imre on the right. Jimo Aloba steps away from one challenge and then he's dispossessed by a very strong challenge by Lundstrom, but it's legal, says the referee. Jimo Aloba stayed on the deck. Hull City try and bring the ball forward, but Hadzimetovic can't get the better of the West Brom midfield. Mowat turns away. Jimo Aloba's back on his feet. And Campbell forced back into his own penalty area. Gets the ball clear, but Slater picks up the loose ball for Hull. Balumi tries to find Hadzimetovic, but a good challenge from Campbell. And DK just lays it off to Mowat. Good ball up to Madger. Little flick behind, looking to get Madger away. Doesn't quite break for Hull City. Northampton 0, Burton Albion 2. So Northampton without a manager and no points this afternoon. Kieran Lofthouse with a second for the Brewers, who are going to win their first game in 4.
Just got a little bit sloppy this last 2 or 3 minutes. West Brom just giving the ball away. DK is overindulgent. Same with Madger. Tried too much of a clever flick. They've just got to get themselves in possession and keep passing it 1 and 2 touch.
He's worked up to Daryl DK, just shy of the halfway line, but dispossessed by Semi Ajayi. 6 minutes of minimum added time is what we've just gone into now on Talksport 2. Mansfield equalised late on at home to Barnsley. That's 2-2. Stephen McLaughlin for the Stags, who not long gave Arsenal a bit of a scare in the FA Cup. Arsenal playing Everton at tea time in the Premier League, and Chelsea Newcastle also meeting at 5:30. Regular updates on those 2 games over on Talksport with a game day phone-in with Jamie O'Hara and Rory Jennings. And then we're going off to London Stadium for West Ham United against Manchester City. Exclusive commentary on Talksport from 8 p.m. on that game, with massive implications at either end of the Premier League table. So we're into those minimum 6 minutes now at the Hawthorns. West Brom in control. Here's Callum Styles trying to play the ball infield for Price, but Price hadn't read the intention of the pass, and Hull can get it clear. But straight down the throat of George Campbell. And he'll work it back to Josh Griffiths. So I guess the only black mark against West Bromwich Albion today is the injury to their recent arrival in goal, Max O'Leary, Perry.
Yeah, as you said, we thought it was an innocuous challenge from Egan, who just sort of tripped him up. Obviously he must have just twisted his ankle. And another player who had been really relieved, obviously, when Hegerberg scored the second goal in the 6th when it would have been Josh Griffith, because he hadn't touched the ball up until then. Dance, you know, you're coming on. So last time he played was against Norwich City, was it here?
Yeah, 5-0? In January, yeah.
So we'd have just relaxed him a little bit, and it's relaxed all the West Bromwich Albion fans, you know. The jeopardy was taken out of the game.
Little flick on halfway from Madger, does really well. Price allowed to continue. Madger was fouled off the ball. Price up to the edge of the area, takes a drive, it's blocked by Ajayi. And then nodded down by Joseph for drama, but he's beaten to the ball by the impressive Imre. But then the ball breaks again for Hull City, but Drama takes too heavy a touch, and it goes over the halfway line where it's retrieved by Nat Phillips.
See, Price actually chose the wrong option there because his team are 2-up against 10 men. I think if it's 0-0, he puts that out to Jamal Oba on that right-hand side down, who's completely unmarked, but he just thinks, no, I'm going to try and get myself on the score sheet as he's shot, and it gets blocked.
2 minutes of added time have gone. 6 minimum were added on. And Harry Whitwell is waiting to come on for West Bromwich Albion in the next break in play. But here's Alex Mowat, steers the ball out to Imre, touches the ball in field for Jimo Aloba, gives it back to the right back, Imre into the area, pulls it back, Price running onto it! Number 3 sets the seal on 3 massive points for West Bromwich Albion, and how fitting it is that it was Daniel Imre, the right back on loan from Palace, who set that goal up. He's been magnificent all afternoon, and Isaac Price runs straight to him to thank him for his efforts, because it was his intelligent pullback Imre that found Isaac Price running in, tucks it past the goalkeeper, and they're boinging at the Hawthorns. They haven't done that very often, certainly in 2026, but that's the game. West Bromwich Albion 3, Hull City 0.
Well, Price hasn't stopped the carnival. He's actually started the carnival dance. You can tell it's party time here at the Hawthorns. Really, really well worked goal from West Bromwich Albion. Jamal Ober, a lovely little flick. Reece Imre on the right-hand side. And as he's done all game, he picks the right pass. He just cuts it back to the penalty spot. Price just arrives late with his right foot. He gives Pandur absolutely no chance in the Hull City goal, low down to his left-hand side. This has been an absolute rout from West Bromwich Albion here at the Hawthorns against Hull City to go 3-0 up.
And Isaac Price, that's his last contribution, having scored that third goal. Harry Whitwell, who's just back from a loan at Forest Green, he's going to get a couple of minutes out there as Price's replacement, making what is only his 6th senior appearance for West Bromwich Albion, Harry Whitwell. So an afternoon to forget for Hull City fans who have long since started drifting away from the Smethwick end to our right. But there's not many who wear the blue and white stripes who are going home early. They won't mind the traffic jam on the Halfords Lane. They want to stick around and salute their players when the full-time whistle goes. McBurney, meantime, for Hull City. Now is Balumi trying to work hard to bring the ball in field from the right-hand touchline, but Whitwell brings it away, gives it straight to Hadzimetovic, runs into Jimo Aloba, worked out to McBurney on the right wing for Hull City. Cross comes in straight at George Campbell, who heads it clear, and then there was a foul on a West Brom player. We're almost done, and West Brom can look forward to their upcoming fixtures away at Bristol City next, and then home here to Wrexham, and then there's a big game coming up for them in a couple of games' time, Perry, at Blackburn, who are in the bottom 3 as things stand, or at least they were until they got those 2 goals at Millwall. Now Blackburn are up in 19th. So the bottom 3 at the moment: Oxford, Leicester and Sheffield Wednesday. Wednesday already down. Oxford got a point today, but the point is West Brom have got 3, so they've gone above Oxford to the other side of the dotted line, and Leicester are the team's second bottom. They're being beaten heavily at home by Queen's Park Rangers. So the ball thrown in, and there goes the full-time whistle, and there's a noise that the Hawthorns has not heard for some considerable time. A full-time roar of joy from their fans. Their first win in 2026 lifts them out of the relegation zone in the Championship. 3-0 the final score against Hull City, whose ambitions of automatic promotion take a big hit here this afternoon. West Brom in control from the moment they took the lead, really, through Josh Madger on the 25-minute mark, sweeping home Jed Wallace's cross. Not long after that, Charlie Hughes got a straight red card for Hull for denying Wallace a clear goal-scoring opportunity. Orne Hegerberg got his first goal after 17 games without scoring midway through the second half. And Isaac Price put the icing on the cake with a finish past the goalkeeper in stoppage time. Even had Callum Stiles hitting the post, but what a happy Hawthorns it is. Just for a change, they go out of the relegation zone with this result. Can they stay out? Full-time score: West Bromwich Albion 3, Hull City 0.
Oh, a tremendous result then for West Brom, as Dance was saying there. Their first win of 2026, their first win in the Championship in 14 games. They hadn't been used to winning for some time, but wow, what a time to finally get those precious 3 points to move them out of the relegation zone. And Perry Groves fully deserving of all 3 points.
Very much so. They were the better side in the first half, Nat, where they, apart from the first 5 minutes, was fairly even. McBurney for Hull had a couple of chances, which one was saved by Illyria's right foot, and then it was Phillips who blocked the second one, the edge of the box. But apart from that, it was all West Bromwich Albion, and You'd never believe that they were in the bottom three. Obviously, they've jumped out now, so psychologically that is massive for the players and the fans. And they had a good performance against Southampton, even though they drew 1-1. They carried it on here today. And all around the pitch, every single West Brom player, they won their personal battles. And we said in the first half now about, you know, how good they were down the right-hand side. Every single goal, all 3 goals from West Brom, came down from the right-hand side. The first one from Maju was a cross from Wallace, which he finished really well from the penalty spot. The second one, Jamal Aloba came on. I think he was on, I might be exaggerating, 6 seconds before he actually had the involvement in the goal, where he just crossed it from the right. Hegeba scored and gets across the near post. Then Imre, who was absolutely outstanding from West Brom in the right back position, he crossed it for Price, who again on the penalty spot, and gave Panda and the whole City goal absolutely no chance whatsoever. And just if you look at, you know, there's lies, damn lies, statistics and that. West Bromwich Albion had 26 shots here today. I'd like to see another time that a team in the bottom 3 had 26 shots. And I know that Hull went down to 10 men. That was a big turning point as well in the 36th minute when Charlie Hughes just pulled down Jed Wallace, who was in on goal. It was on the right-hand side of the 18-yard box, and Hughes just panicked because Hull had been under so much pressure. He panicked. He should have let Jed Wallace just go away because he still had Panda to beat. Quite rightly, Josh Smith, the referee, sent him off, and then it was going to be an uphill battle from Hull City then, which they couldn't climb. And it was a brilliant performance all around from West Bromwich Albion.
And really does stem from that draw in midweek, which for many might be demoralising when you're 1-0 up and you're heading into added on time, and then they conceded to Southampton, so 1-1 that finish. But James Morrison had said that was the benchmark for them to finish this season as high as, or, you know, as well as they possibly could. And we've seen that now in 2 great performances, that there is fight in this West Brom team.
There is, yeah, and they're playing for the shirt. And I said it in the first half as well. You want your senior players to stand up. And Wallace in the first half, the West Brom Albion captain, was absolutely outstanding and down that right-hand side. And the 2 centre midfield players, Diakite and Malumbe, especially. Malumbe was brilliant in the centre midfield position where he won his 50-50s. They totally dominated Crooks and Slater in that first half. That made, obviously, when Hull City went down to 10 men, that to change players in different positions. Slater went out right back, Kumas went out wide left, Gellert had to go out wide right, which they don't really want to be there. So, James Morrison, he will say undoubtedly that is West Bromwich Albion's best performance of the season against a very good away side. You know, the Hull City won 8 of their last 10 matches away from home in the Championship.
Yeah.
They've wins at Middlesbrough, Millwall, Southampton, Preston, Wrexham. So they'll take even more confidence from this. It was, apart from Max O'Leary, the West Brom goalkeeper, had to go off with an injury, looked like he'd done his ankle. Apart from that, everything is positive.
Yeah, they've got an away trip to Bristol City to come. That's next Saturday, followed by the Easter weekend fixtures, which see them host Wrexham before they go to Blackburn on Easter Monday. They've got Millwall to come, Preston away, Watford, Ipswich at home before they finish the season on Sheffield Wednesday. Do you see any of those fixtures being winnable, and in the sense that they can actually really put some distance between the bottom 3 and themselves?
Nah, it's the Championship. They're all winnable.
They're playing
Keep the Faith by Bon Jovi. Very, very good. But that's exactly what they have to do. And psychologically, it is massive. When you jump out of that bottom 3, it is huge. I know it's only a point over Oxford and 2 points over Leicester, but when you hear they get off the pitch and they hear that Leicester have been beaten at home by QPR, which nobody saw coming down today at all.
Especially when Leicester took the lead.
Exactly. So it's all positive energy, and that's what you need, you know, at this sort of stage of the season.
I'm not ringing the boss on the way home, are you?
No.
After that.
Oh, no, steer clear of that.
No, exactly, yeah.
Stuart Walker giving him a wide berth.
Yeah, he doesn't want our sympathy. No, 100%.
I think he's resigned to it though as well, isn't he?
I was 2 years ago, you know, when we bit the dust. It gets into your skin. You can't get that mindset. You can't change it. Something just does something, and that's it. You are Mr. Negative. It's not a nice place to be.
Just quickly, before we do the man of the match, a word on Hull then. A really bad day at the office for them, but more than capable of picking up and securing a playoff spot at the very least.
Yeah, very much so. Obviously, if you look at the table, Wrexham are 3 points behind him with a game in hand. Southampton are 6 points behind with a game in hand. So it's still in Hull's hands, those automatic places. Obviously, Millwall having a bad result as well today. So of all the teams in the top 6, it's been Ipswich who've had the best day. So then again, they've got a game in hand over Middlesbrough. So they win that, then they go above Middlesbrough into second place. So Ipswich Town and Kieran McKenna have had a really good day. But I don't think he'll be feeling as good as James Morrison, the West Bromwich Albion manager, because he's put a belief into this side that wasn't there. And you know when things are going for you, when you make a substitution when Wallace had been so good in the first half and he's the captain to take him off.
And you said, I'm not sure about this.
I'm not sure about taking him off because he's a senior player and he'd been that good. And Jamal Oba comes on and it was his first touch after 5 seconds, cross it for Hegerber. Hegerber scores, game's done and dusted. James Morrison says, it's not that difficult, this managerial life, is it? All you've got to do is make the right decisions at the right time. It's quite simple.
It does have an element of a squeaky bum time for some of the teams in the top 6, shall we say. But right now, Perry, it's time for you to pick our man of the match with McDonald's.
Man of the Match on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Got Big McDonald's hunger? The Big Arch is here to stay. Available from 11 a.m, subject to availability. Price and participation may vary.
So, go on, do us the honours, Perry. Who's your standout player today?
There was loads for West Brom. Mentioned Malumbi and Diakate in centre midfield. Wallace was brilliant. The West Brom captain, that right-hand side. Price got the third goal. He was very good as well as was Styles. But there's a player that Dance mentioned, comes from sort of my neck of the woods, from Chelmsford out in Essex, and played at right back in a 4-4-2. Played like a wing back. Danny Imre was absolutely outstanding all game. So he's just up and down that right-hand side. Had a brilliant understanding with Wallace in the first half on the right-hand side. Got his cross and assist for Price's goal for the third goal. So it's very unusual that a normal orthodox right-back gets man the match. It's normally the wing-backs, isn't it, who sort of fly forward and they catch your eye. But he sort of covered both roles, really. He was absolutely outstanding. I'm going to give it to Danny Imre, the West Bromwich Albion right-back.
Superb. That was our man of the match, all thanks to McDonald's.